you all please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is 1.03. Mr. Seymour, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Spielman. Present. Dr. Johnson.
Present.
Mrs. Knighton. Mr. Smith. Ms. Bryant.
Present. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is 2.01, District Honors, Recognitions, Gifts, and Introductions. Superintendent Denny, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, President Bryant. Good evening, everybody.
Can you get through?
So we have a lot of introductions and also recognitions, honors, awards this evening. We have 8 awards, so a lot to celebrate this evening, a lot to be proud of. And to kick it off, though, we want to make sure we circle back and introduce one of our staff members. Is Ms. Bernacki here this evening? Not quite yet, so we will come back to her as well. So to get right into it then, we have several, again, honors and awards and recognitions this evening. And we will begin with the Horace Mann Fine Arts Student of the Month Award. And we're going to go back to the month of September. And hopefully we are joined by Sean Daniels. Sean, are you here this evening? All right, we're going to keep after it. We read Sean's nomination form, but just to be clear, these are the requirements or qualifications to be nominated for the Horace Mann Fine Arts Student of the Month for Winton City Schools. Students must maintain an academic standard of 3.0 GPA or above in the previous quarter. They should show respect for directors, fellow ensemble members, contest adjudicators, teachers, and other students and family. Show enthusiasm and a positive attitude. Display commitment to rehearsals, concerts, as well as personal skill development. Demonstrate honesty and integrity. And then finally have high moral character. So the Horace Mann Fine Arts Student of the Month Award is sponsored by the Horace Mann Educators Corporation, a business partner of Winton City Schools, and students who are so honored receive a Chipotle gift card. So that's good stuff. The next Horace Mann Fine Arts Student of the Month Award is AJ or Elijah Moore. Elijah, you're here this evening? Elijah, come on up to the front. Welcome. If you'd stand right here next to Dr. Johnson, one of our board members, I get to say a whole lot of nice things about you. And I'd also like to invite 2 Horace Mann reps who happen to be here tonight. And we appreciate them being here as well as their support. And that's Mr. Tyler Jewell and Mr. Mike Hardy. Okay, stay here. Stay here, please. Yeah, thanks, Dr. Johnson. So I get to brag on you a little bit. So AJ, you are a 12th grader, and you represent choir, color guard, photography, and video production. 3.7 GPA, so amazing. Well done. Yeah. And I'm going to read your nomination form here. It says, AJ is an exemplary student in all areas of the fine arts. He has been in art for 3 years and is now taking AP art and is preparing a portfolio for his next chapter in the visual arts. He's been chosen in choir for 4 years and is now in varsity ensemble, getting ready to showcase his talents at Disney with varsity ensemble right before the holiday break. And he also sang with the Pops last year at Music Hall. AJ has been color guard manager for 3 years, helping us in all areas, putting down flags, picking up flags, marching with the band, carrying the banner. Thanks for doing that. During all of this, he picks up his camera to take photos of the games, to name one or many events, as he is a part of the Warrior Broadcasting crew, which will also feature later. Spoiler alert. Picking up his camera to take photos of the games as Warrior Broadcasting, which is a media art as well. Wow. As you can see, he is a true Renaissance man who is also kind, caring, respectful, and not to mention the 3.7 GPA. He's a true asset to the Fine Arts Department and a shining example of what it means to be a warrior. Congrats, AJ. Yeah. Share with us what's inspired you in these amazing accomplishments.
Probably my teacher, Ms. Chukowski, and Miss Becky Youngs.
Nice. All right. Did you bring anybody with you this evening?
Mom's over there.
Okay. Come on up. Yeah, come on up. Yeah, can we get a picture of everybody? Yeah, come on up, Mom. Thank you. Tyler and Mike, if you join us again, that'd be great. All right. Thank you all so much, and congratulations again. I'd like to ask Mr. Dave Bell to join us at the podium here. Dr. Johnson at the podium. Glad you're here, Mr. Bell. Mr. Bell is president of the local Green Hills Forest Park Kiwanis Club. So thanks for being here, Mr. Bell. And they have sponsored the next two awards. We have a Characters Key Award and then a Student of the Month Award. And so we'll begin with the Characters Key, specifically the character trait of respect. Students are selected for the Kiwanis Characters Key Respect Award based on the following description. Respect means to actively pursue behavior toward others that promotes awareness and understanding that all human beings have worth, being considerate of the rights of others, and showing regard for public and private properties. The Kiwanis Characters Key Respect Award is sponsored by the Green Hills Forest Park Kiwanis Club, a partner of the Winton City School District, and the winner will receive a La Rosa's gift card as a part of this recognition. So without any further ado, we'd like to call to the podium Brianna Velasquez Zatina. Brianna? Come up to the front, hon, if you would. Welcome. We're so glad you're here. And we'll have your parents join in just a minute, okay? All right, all right.
So cute.
So I'd like to read a couple really nice things about you because you've done some good stuff. All right. So Mr. Salone, the assistant principal at Winton Primary School, writes the following. Brianna is very respectful. She is helpful and kind to her peers. She listens and participates well. She also demonstrates love for learning. These traits are consistently shown in Brianna throughout the day. We appreciate you, Brianna. Thank you. Any family members or friends that have accompanied Brianna, please come on up to the front as well. Congrats, Mom and Dad. Yeah. Yeah, thank you so much, and congratulations. Oh, we missed Mr. Salone. I'm so sorry. Could we have one more take, Miss Jackson? Thank you. Thanks again. And the next award to celebrate this evening is the Kiwanis Student of the Month Award, and it is a 12th grader. We're very excited that he's here, and his name is Deontay Shelton. Come on up, Deontay. And Deontay, again, I have some really wonderful things to share with our community and our meeting attendees this evening. So we are proud to bring your attention to the remarkable character and accomplishments of one of our outstanding students, Deontay Shelton. We believe he embodies the warrior way of trust, respect, and responsibilities in more ways than one. Deontay has shown strong leadership skills and a calling to service. At just 17 years of age, he has navigated the challenges of living independently, demonstrating an impressive level of responsibility and resilience. Despite these challenges, he has maintained excellent attendance and grades, showcasing his dedication to his education. At school, Deontay is a proud member of our men's chorus, where he contributes his talent and enthusiasm. This same school spirit and sense of community follows him in everything he actively pursues. As a student aide for the Career Center, Deontay shows initiative by asking for additional tasks and is always eager to assist with the visiting college reps. Thank you for doing that. That's amazing. In addition to his studies, Deontay works as a lifeguard after school, a role that not only highlights his strong work ethic, but also his commitment to the safety and well-being of others. Deontay's caring nature shines through in everything he does, whether it's offering a helpful hand or providing encouragement to those in need. He has goals of joining the Navy after graduating. Deontay is an exemplary warrior deserving of the title Student of the Month, and that comes to us from Mr. Brad Tash, your counselor. Congrats, Deontay. Yay. Thank you, Ms. Collins. Congrats again, and thank you, Deontay. All right, for the next award, we're going to turn to the Skyline Student Athlete of the Month Award for the month of September. And to be nominated for the Skyline Student Athlete of the Month, students must maintain an academic standard of 3.0 GPA or higher in the previous quarter, show respect for coaches, teammates, officials, teachers, and other students and family, show enthusiasm and a positive attitude, display commitment to practice, games, and personal skill development, demonstrate honesty and playing by the rules, and have high moral character. The Skyline Student Athlete of the Month Award is sponsored by the Forest Park Skyline Chili Restaurant, a business partner of the Winton Woods City School District. Student athletes who are so honored receive a Skyline gift card. So we'd like to call to the front Kyle Shoup, 11th grade golf. Come on up, Kyle. And Kyle, I'd like to share a little bit with you while Ms. Jackson gets that first image. So first of all, fourth quarter GPA 4.0, and that's quite impressive. This comes from your coach, Mr. Dan Oliver. He states, Kyle is a junior on the Warrior golf team and is committed to attending practices and improving his golfing skills. He follows directions well, is persistent, and does whatever he is asked to do while having an immensely positive attitude and always showing respect for his coaches, teammates, and other students. He has a 4.0 GPA and is an excellent nomination for the Skyline Student of the Month. Congratulations, Kyle. Kyle, did you bring anyone with you this evening? We'd love to have them join us up here. We'll have a group photo. And we're proud of you, Kyle. For the next award, we have the October 2024 Skyline Student Athlete of the Month Award. And we'd love to call to the podium Dulce Hernandez Lopez, 12th grade soccer. And please educate me. Did I say your name correctly? Okay, all right, thanks, dear. All right, that's important. I want to make sure I get that right. So this comes to us from her coach, Tyler Shedd. Dulce currently has a 3.7 overall GPA, or 3.7 GPA and an overall GPA of 3.8, so well done. Student athlete, so absolutely both. Dulce was voted team captain by her teammates. She's a versatile player who is able to play multiple positions. She plays the game the right way and plays with passion and enthusiasm. She was actually injured toward the end of the season, but persisted. Our team missed her presence and leadership, however, and she showed her determination and passion for the game by coming back from her injury and playing her last game so she could end her career on the field with her teammates. That's tremendous, Dulce. That's fantastic. Congrats. And we're proud of that. Did you bring anyone with you this evening? Yeah, please come on up. Fantastic. And finally, the second to the last award, but the final Skyline Award this evening is the October 24 Skyline Teacher of the Month Award, and that is to Miss Beverly Lanham. Come on up. So to be nominated for the Skyline Teacher of the Month, teachers must demonstrate the following criteria. Excellence in the classroom by using instructional practices that support higher academic achievement, motivation by encouraging and motivating students to surpass their expectations both academically and socially, leadership by having a positive attitude with students, parents, colleagues, and the community, creativity and imagination by demonstrating creativity and teaching in a way that inspires students to learn, dedication by showing excellent attendance, punctuality, and overall dependability, and finally, communication by communicating effectively to their classrooms. And here's what your principal, Miss Michelle Plummer, says about Miss Lanham. She writes, Miss Lanham has been a crucial part of my staff since moving into the building. She has been a special ed teacher since 1988. Miss Lanham is a dedicated and compassionate special needs teacher who has made a significant impact on the lives of her students at Winton Woods City Schools. Her unwavering commitment to her students' success is evident in her daily interactions, as she consistently goes above and beyond to provide individualized support and guidance. Bev's ability to create a positive and inclusive learning environment fosters a sense of belonging that encourages her students to reach their full potential. Her passion for teaching shines through in her innovative instructional strategies, and her genuine care for her students' well-being shines through. Bev Lanham is truly an exemplary educator who embodies the spirit of excellence in special education. Thank you, Ms. Lanham. Yeah,
Well, I don't have a voice today, I'm sorry. I just want to say one thing, and that is that when I found out, because of all the system changes, that I had to retire, it was in May, and I went to Columbus, and jokingly I told my friends, well, I won't see you tomorrow because I'm going to retire, you know. And I get up there and find out I have to. And I just burst into tears. And I drove all the way home to my mom and dad. And they said, who died? I said, nobody. I have to retire. And so my husband boosted me up because I was thinking, I will never get a job. I'm old, you know. And doggone it, if Kevin Jones didn't call me in, and this is the best job I ever had.
Thank you. That was inspiring. Thank you.
Yes.
Did you bring anyone with you this evening, or it's okay? It's okay. No, it's totally. We're just glad you're here. We're thankful for you. Is Mr. Salone still here? Yeah, would you mind joining for a quick photo with Miss Lanham, if you don't mind? Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Mr. Salone. Thank you very much. All right, Ms. Bernacki yet? We can do that. We can make that happen. All right, very good. Yes, ma'am. So our final award this evening is the Community Spirit Award. So if Mr. Tyler Jewell and Mr. Mike Hardy would come and join Dr. Johnson at the podium, that would be great. So I'd just like to take a moment and recognize Horace Mann. First of all, Horace Mann is sponsoring our Fine Arts Student of the Month Award, so we really appreciate that level of partnership. But the truth is, the district's partnership with Horace Mann goes back the better part of a couple decades, I want to say. I recall a gentleman named Tim Hooten, that brought the Crystal Apple Awards to our district as a way of recognizing excellence with staff members and teachers, but really all staff. And you've been present in our schools from an employee benefits standpoint and in just supporting our kids and our programming. And that means a lot. So we wanted to pause and acknowledge that and thank you all for that and do so publicly. So we'd like to present you with the award, the Community Spirit Award, which is exemplifying years of service and partnership with our school district. On behalf of our kids, our community, we want to thank you. Yeah, please do, Tyler. Thank you.
So Tim's been around for over 25 years. We come into the schools and we really help educators, help principals, help people that need help with student loan forgiveness. I mean, once you go through college, you're like, what do we do with student loans? So we really help with that. And then the retirement piece. And Mike Hardy and Tim Houghton have done that for years and years. So we just thank you guys. We really want to partner with you. As a former teacher myself, I know how important it is for corporate America to come in and just say thank you for all you do for the teachers, for the principals, superintendents, everybody that works with you guys. We really appreciate what you do. I know from the outside you guys don't get that much thankfulness from us, but I want to tell you that we really are thankful for what you guys do. You really invest a lot of time in the kids in the community. So thank you guys.
Thank you. President Bryant, that concludes the district honors, recognitions, gifts, and introductions.
If this was the end of the meeting, I'd be just as happy. I mean, this was phenomenal. Thank you, and congratulations to all that were honored. So moving on with our business, the next item on the agenda is 3.01, public comments. Mr. Seymour, I do believe we have one. Public comment?
Tom Cooper.
Yeah, you will have 3 minutes to speak your comments, so the person, I'm not sure who it is. Please
Miss
come on
Robin
up.
Wright Pierce.
It's just. Okay.
Oh, please.
Go.
Yeah, please
Dr.
do.
Johnson, if you keep time, please. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. My name is Robin Wright Pierce. I am a resident for Forest Park and a mother of a 7th grader who's been in the district since 3rd grade. And so I had 2 things that I wanted to share with you all and give some feedback on. And I want to preface it by saying I love this district. We moved here intentionally because we were attracted to Winton City Schools. So all of my feedback is with love and as a parent who is deeply invested in the well-being of our community. And so the 2 things that I wanted to talk about, the first one is I wanted to give some feedback on the superintendent search process that you all underwent last summer and spring. To my knowledge, there was really only one opportunity for the public to participate in that at the very beginning of the search. And I just want to give some feedback for the next time that a high-level position is open to allow the stakeholders like parents, educators, and school personnel to have more input on the finalist side. I spoke to several people who work in the district, in the school buildings, and they too only had that one chance. I did take that opportunity, but I think it would have been nice to have an opportunity to engage with the finalists. This is no shade to you, Mr. Denny, but just an observation of the process and how to include stakeholders for a public school district in a more effective way. The second thing is my son is now transitioned from South Campus to North Campus, from the old buildings to the new buildings to another building of the new buildings, and these new buildings are too small. I know you all know this. There's no way you don't know that these facilities actually are not spacious enough to meet the needs of the population of our students. My son is in all honors classes, advanced classes. He's taking advanced science labs in a corridor like that. That's not an actual lab. His advanced math class is also in a corridor shared with 2 other math classes because there are not enough classrooms in the middle school. There also were not enough classrooms in South Campus. I am afraid to see what the high school looks like, having witnessed this in the middle school side of North Campus and in the South Campus. What concerns me is that we just got the buildings. Taxpayers have had to pay for the levies for the capital projects. And so I am anticipating that there will be a need very soon for another capital investment project, another tax levy project potentially, when we are struggling to pass levies for the operations side of things. I've voted for all of them and watched all of them fail, right? And so in addition to this observation, I want to say I do political work. I've run campaigns, and I am willing to help when the time comes for whatever this looks like. But I actually think it's a relatively urgent issue considering we have newer buildings that our spaces can accommodate our students. And so even the teachers in the middle school are literally switching classes because they can't stay in one class for the duration of their day. And so just wanted to give those feedback. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I like to say thank you for taking the time out to come and speak on these issues. We take it very seriously. Of course, we won't respond now, but we will take that and we'll have a response for you and look forward to partnering with you.
Likewise, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Next item on the agenda is 4.01. We will take which is recess. We'll take a 5-minute recess. All right. The next item on the agenda is 5.01. Comments from the board, to the board from associations. Do we have a representative from Winton Woods Teachers Association? Okay, seeing none. Next item is 5.02, Ohio Association of Public School Employees. Do we have an OPSE rep present?
Oh, she's not here today. She's always here.
Seeing none, yep. The next item on
She
the
turned
agenda
over the gavel
She
last
did.
week, last meeting.
is 6.01, to waive the reading of the minutes. Board, a motion is in order.
I'd like to move we waive the reading of the minutes of the following meetings: the regular meeting September 23rd, 2024, and the regular meeting October 14th, 2024.
Thank you, Mr. Spillman.
I'll second that.
It's been motioned and second. Any discussion or questions? Seeing none, Mr. Seymour, will you call for the vote?
Mr. Spielman,
Aye.
Dr. Johnson,
Aye.
Mr. Smith, Ms. Bryant.
Aye, that vote passes unanimously. The next item on the agenda is 6.02 to approve the minutes as presented. Board, a motion is in order.
Madam President, I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
I'll second that.
It's been motioned and second. Any questions? Seeing none, Mr. Seymour, will you call for the vote?
Mr. Spielman.
Aye.
Dr. Johnson.
Aye.
Mr. Smith. Ms. Bryant.
Aye, that vote passes unanimously. The next item on the agenda is the treasurer's report, 7.01 financial statements for September 2024. Mr. Seymour, you have the floor.
Yes, our general fund revenues for the year-to-date are currently at $21.6 million. For the month, the general fund received $4.2 million, of which $2.3 million was state foundation support, and then our homestead and rollback came in for $1.4 million. Also, our total expenditures, you have them presented to you by object and function for a total year-to-date expenditures of $14.2 million. And we're currently approximately 2.5% under budget, or $1.5 million. We're not looking quite as good this year as we did last year at the same time, but we kind of reviewed that. Also, all funds, for all district funds, the unencumbered balance was at $24.3 million, and on page 5 you have the amount of each fund listed for you.
Thank you, Mr. Seymour. Any questions? No. Okay. So we will take the financial statements from September 24 and have them submitted for file and audit. Next item on the agenda is 8.01 investments. Mr. Seymour, you have the floor.
Yes, for the month of September, we earned $156,415 in interest. Of that, the general fund was $141,109, and the building fund still earned $15,296.
Board, a motion is in order.
Madam President, I'd like to make a motion to approve the investment report as presented.
I'll second.
It's been motioned and second. Any questions? Okay. Seeing none, Mr. Seymour, will you call for the vote?
Mr. Spielman.
Aye.
Dr. Johnson.
Aye.
Mr. Smith. Aye. Ms. Bryant.
Aye, that vote passes unanimously. The next item on the agenda is 8.02, a resolution requesting authority to file a modified tax budget for the 2025-2026 fiscal year. Mr. Seymour, you have the floor.
Yes, this resolution is a resolution which the Hamilton County Auditor requests that the board approve, giving the treasurer authority to file a modified tax budget, meaning that after you approve the 5-year forecast, we will use the 5-year forecast to present to the county auditor for our budget of the general fund. That's kind of a summary of what it's saying.
All right, board, a motion is in order.
I'd like to move that we approve the resolution requesting authority from the Hamilton County Budget Commission to file a modified tax budget for the 2025-2026 fiscal year as presented.
I'll second.
It's been motioned and second. Any questions? Yes. I just want to clarify for the public that this is something that we have to do per county law or ordinance. Is that correct, Mr. Seymour? That we have to have this resolution?
Yes, they require me to get board approval in order to follow that process.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments? Seeing none, Mr. Seymour, will you call for the vote?
Mr. Spielman.
Aye.
Dr. Johnson.
Aye.
Mr. Smith.
Aye.
Ms. Bryant.
Aye, that vote passes unanimously. The next item on the agenda, reports for the superintendent. Superintendent Denny, you have the floor.
Thank you again, President Bryant. I'll dwell just briefly on 9.01 school reports on the upcoming school events. There are some real highlights I'd like to hit, but we also have some very special guests to join us this evening, so I'm going to go briefly and quickly through this. We do have a high school indoor marching band concert coming up this Wednesday, 6:30, at the North Campus Performing Arts Auditorium. We also are really excited about our high school varsity football team qualifying for playoffs, and they have a game this Friday. At the time of the writing of this, we weren't sure based on OHSAA guidelines if it would be Friday or Saturday, but it is this Friday at home at 7 p.m. So that'll be a fantastic experience, we're sure. Also wanted to highlight intermediate school band and orchestra concert on November 12th, the fall play. It's that time of year, so it's time for the fall play, November 14th through the 16th. Midterms is coming up, so academics midway through the second quarter is November 18. Middle school band and orchestra concert coming up. Also a primary school, elementary school, intermediate school student of the month recognition on Friday the 22nd. And then that would lead right into Thanksgiving break, which is the 25th through the 29th. So without any further ado, I'd like to, at this time, call to the front Ms. Haller, and she will be joined by the Warrior Broadcasting crew for a presentation. So Ms. Haller, if you take it away. And while you're coming up, I'll just briefly add, the board had asked about some of the activities of this illustrious organization. They have been doing some amazing things, and word of those good things has escaped the walls of the high school by far and away. And so they asked if you all could come out this evening and share some of the great things you're doing.
Okay. Good evening, and thank you for having us. I really do appreciate it. I love talking about what these guys do. I'm just going to go over a few things real quick, and then I'll let them speak, and I'll introduce them as we get going here. But we are the Warrior Broadcasting crew. As many of you know, we started this about 2.5 years ago. And so just to show you, when we started in 2020, we had like a couple months when we first went into the new building. That didn't count. We were kind of feeling it out. So, but in 2022, 2023, we had 9 members. In 23-24, last year, we grew to 15 members. And this year, as of right now, we have 22 members. So we have continued to grow, and I attribute that to these students talking to their friends and everything, and then I'll let Nolly even talk in a minute about what she's done to grow more. We do basically social media accounts, so we have Twitter, and actually this header has changed from a brand new student who just joined us last week, and I did not have time to change it, but he's into graphic arts and graphic design, so he's changed that for us. We have Instagram, and we have TikTok. Each of these we've tried to teach the students how to brand each of those. X or Twitter, as everybody still calls it because it's X, but you still tweet, so all of that. But that's mostly our sports, our athletics, because for recruiting and for student athletes, that's where that lies. That's where the coaches are, college coaches, everything like that. So we post a lot of that there. Instagram is kind of a catch-all. It really was started by a lot of the students saying, hey, we want to cover the fine arts and music and everything going on there, so let's put that on Instagram. But it's kind of crossed. And we have some of our sports there, but we also, that's kind of mostly where the arts are. And then our TikTok account is for the rest of the student body. That's our fun stuff that I kind of let them kind of roll with. And each of these are linked. If you wanted to see the accounts, I can bring them up. Maybe as they talk about some of the things, I'll do that. So of our 22 students, I asked a bunch of them to come, and this is who showed up, but I appreciate them. So this is Joy Burton. She's our senior. We are very senior heavy with our group, but we're doing some recruiting. AJ at the end you saw earlier, who received an award, he actually is one of 2 of our original members. He and Amadou, who's here, they joined us as sophomores, so this is their 3rd year with us, with the program. And then we have Nolly Baber, who joined us last year as a freshman. She was our only freshman last year. So Nolly's been with us now 2 years. And then we have Kimaya Butler, who just joined us this year. And she is a sophomore. I couldn't remember if you were sophomore or junior, sorry. All right. Do you guys want to talk about anything? Or if you guys want to ask them questions, too, I told them whatever you want to do. Nolly, do you want to talk about your recruiting? What you did? Yeah, come on up. Let me get out of the way. They don't need to hear from me anymore. It's not about me.
Hi.
Hi.
So.
How you recruited more students?
I talked to a bunch of my friends. I told them how great our club is, how much we do for our community along with our school. We do videographs, we do photos, we go to dances, we go to home games, away games, and we just do so much. And I got a bunch of my friends at least I talked to them about it, and I got them to either join by either emailing Ms. Howler or considering it. I did get one of my friends to join, and I did talk to a bunch of others, and they are considering it and talking with their parents about joining our club very soon as well.
What else did you do? Your email to Mr. Martin?
Oh, right.
Nolly took it upon herself to do something, so.
Okay. I emailed our head principal, Mr. Martin. Yes, Mr. Martin, and I told him that I would like to make an announcement over the intercom about our club. He did allow me to do that, and about like 2 weeks ago, I did the announcement, and I got a bunch of replies back from a lot of people too.
Nice.
She took that initiative. She asked me if she could do it. She wrote the email to Mr. Martin. Then she wrote the script for what she was going to say. And so that's kind of what we're about, is giving the students the initiative. It's about them and what they want to do. So I did forget to show you this. So what do they do, right? And then I'll let them talk about it. So some of the things that we do, everything that we try and do is I want them to drive. And so Mrs. Albers is also the co-advisor for this. She couldn't be here tonight. But we basically tell them, this is your club. This is what you guys want to do. And, you know, if you want me to tell you what to do, that's not going to work very well. So I do kind of come up with suggestions, things like that, but we want we want this to come from them. And so they do photography. AJ is one of our top photographers, as he mentioned. So he does that dual, right? He's out there with the marching band, or with the flag color guard, and then he's also taking pictures. So he does a lot of that, and actually a lot of our students are doing that. We do videography, so they film. We do video editing, interviews. I think Joy can talk about that a little bit, and graphic design. So those are the main things, the areas that we like them to get into. Anybody else want to speak?
I'll speak.
Okay.
Hi, so like Ms. Heller said, my name is Joy Burton. I'm a senior, and I joined Warrior Broadcasting Crew last year. Last year was my first year at Winwoods, and I really enjoyed being a part of the Warrior Broadcasting Crew. It's given me an opportunity to try out interviewing. That's my main thing that I do, and I also help with the TikTok account, coming up with content for that. But I love to do the interviews. We interview athletes. We interview theater, the kids doing the theater productions, band interviews. And I actually want to major in multimedia journalism and political science when I go to school. So that has helped me a lot, give me some experience. And it has also opened my mind to potentially going into sports reporting. So I'm very grateful to Warrior Broadcasting Crew for giving me that opportunity, and I hope that it can continue to expand and grow when I'm gone. But it's been a great group. I was able to bring 2 of my friends into it last year as well, and they do photography and graphic design as well. So yeah, like I said, my main thing is interviewing, and it has impacted me personally, and I think it will have a good effect on me when I go on to the next chapter next year.
Thank you.
AJ, you want to say anything?
I'll say something.
As our newest member? One of our newest?
Yep. Like Ms. Haller said, I am very new to Warrior Broadcasting. So far, I've done an interview, and I've videoed for other interviews, and I like the opportunities that it gives me to like talk to people and see what students, like other students, think about things that are going on in school and like what productions we do. And I really like getting to know other students, like even people that I never would have thought I would talk to. So, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, it's great. Good job.
Okay, so I guess I'll speak now. Like Ms. Haller said, I was in broadcasting, not at the very beginning, but right soon thereafter. And it's been nice being a part of and watching the evolution of our group. Because when I joined, we were very sports focused. Like, we only covered sports, but as we've gotten bigger and time has gone on, we've covered a lot more areas of the school. And also with our TikTok and Instagram pages, we've been able to just engage with students randomly walking in the hallways. So you might see someone you know pop up on Instagram or TikTok. And it's just been a lot of fun doing broadcasting, because it's what did the students want to see put out there? It was like Ms. Howard said, she doesn't give us any assignments. It'll be like, we'll meet, and then she'll be like, so what are we doing? And wait for us to respond. And so everyone will raise their hand. I'm on photography, video work for the day. But yeah, I love broadcasting, and I can't wait to see where it goes after I'm gone.
Can I say one more thing? So, to AJ's point about seeing, I don't know if I shared this, but we, with TikTok especially, right? Everybody sees it. People don't really follow you. They just see the video based on who they follow, all this other stuff. And I have a friend who's a teacher at a CPS school, and got to the point that she had used to teach at Winton Woods. She had a new student. They kind of were talking. She said she used to teach at Winton Woods, and the student said, "Wait, isn't that the school that has that TikTok account where the girl goes around and interviews people, and like she gets to like use this big microphone and talk to everybody and interview them? I've seen all their videos." And I was like, okay, we're famous. Yeah. So, it is kind of fun, and it's kind of fun to see how many views we do get. Some of our videos have gotten 3,000, 4,000 views. Others have only gotten, 200 or something like that, but that's okay. It's okay, yeah. So it's really kind of neat to see that and that these guys get to be creative and do some different things. If you have not checked them out, I know a lot of people say, I'm not a TikTok person, but really you should check us out, because there's some really cool stuff that they're doing. Joy's done some, we were asked by Mr. Martin to do a PSA about trust, respect, and responsibility. And I don't know if you've been following TikTok, but the whole very demure, very mindful. It's this video that somebody put out. So we did all that, and we had these big football players. Joy got out a couple of the football players to talk about being very demure, very mindful, very respectful. So you should check it out. So we've done things like that. We have one student, Amadou, who's been here long too, and he does a lot of trivia. So if you're ever in the building, he might get you. So he does. He's done animals to all our science teachers. He did football players to the non-football people, and they couldn't identify Joe Burrow or anybody else. Oh, wow. So it was kind of funny. But he'll show them a picture and ask them who it is. And so, he does all that work. And so in the video, he then brings in the picture so the audience sees it, what the viewer is seeing. So these kids are doing some really great work and putting some time and effort into it, and they really enjoy it. So, check us out. Everything's...
I have a question about your equipment. So
Yes.
how do you divvy out the equipment, or where's it stored and all that kind of stuff?
Sure. So we do have a video production room, and that's where I store a lot of it, or it stays with me in my possession in my SLC, because as the instructional technology coach, I'm there at North Campus every day, and so it's with me. And so we have, through the technology department, through Rhonda Hobbs, and even through the high school, things that were purchased for us. So we have DSLR cameras that, like AJ, and he has a favorite. He will only take the green one, the one with the green dot. That's his favorite. And then this year, in the previous time, we let them video with their phones, because it's just easier, and that's what they're used to, right? So let's go with what they know. And but what's my biggest pet peeve?
Not doing anything with the videos.
Not doing anything with the videos and pictures, or doing it fast enough. Right. So we've got all this stuff on it. Yeah. So to kind of help curb that, Mrs. Hobbs allowed us to use some repurposed iPhones that the district had, and so they have our accounts on them, and so the students take those out. And we have microphones, we have lapel microphones, Bluetooth. What else do we have? A lot. Yeah, we've got a lot. So we do. We have some. We can always use more, but we do have a lot. So we've got 3 cameras, 4 phones, 2 of each microphone, and so that's what we use.
I love it.
Yeah.
For graphics, we use things like Canva.
Yeah.
Okay.
Canva and WeVideo, which the district purchases licenses for. Canva is free for education use.
Yeah.
And so the kids are learning how to, and Canva is a professional program.
Yes, it is.
So those who are doing graphic design are learning that.
Right.
And WeVideo, even though it's a school product, it is everything of editing. So it does a really good job teaching them how to do that as well. So
I am like super excited. I follow you guys on Instagram. I don't know, was it you, Brandon, that told me we had an Instagram?
Yes.
It
I'm probably the only board member that follows you guys.
Yes,
I think you do, yes, you do, you
I was
do.
like, oh my goodness, here's the account. I gotta like it.
Yes.
What I love about it is when you miss something, that's where I go. I'm like, well, what do we do? Like, I didn't get to go to the game. Okay, so what was the score? And to see it, it looks so professional. One of the things I think the young people get a really bad name for is you're always on your phone. And how do you use the social media platforms for good and to broadcast? And you guys are doing that. And you're doing it in school. And these skills will take you a long way. So thank you, guys. I love it. I have not followed you on TikTok because I didn't know we had a TikTok. But I will follow and watch the videos.
WW
But watch the videos.
Instagram and TikTok are WW Broadcast.
Okay, look.
X is WWHS
Y'all get your
Broadcast.
phones out.
For those Everybody get your phone out and follow us. I don't know what
Accounts.
happened with our X account. We had over 600 followers, and now we only have 300 and something. So, you know. Yeah, might have been seniors, yes, and people who rotated. I will say our focus has shifted a little bit. We don't cover sports as much. I don't have as many who are interested. I mean, they want to interview, but not to actually cover the games. My initial goal was to actually do broadcasting and broadcast the games, you know, color and play-by-play, but we don't have interest in that either, so my goals have to go back, but it's all about them, so.
But I'm a cheerleader.
She's a cheerleader.
Also, do we have the, like, for the live broadcast, do we have the equipment?
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Yes,
I couldn't do it because
I know, they're all involved in, I have students who are involved in everything, so it is, but they do, they still give up their time and fit it all in because they really enjoy it.
And we have a great partner that videotapes all of
Yes.
our meetings, and so that's a great opportunity too to network in your community. So,
Yes.
way to go, Warriors! Love it.
I have one quick story and a question, but I'll make it quick. You all are famous because last spring, were any of the four of you involved downtown with the New Tech Network Leadership Conference? You did an amazing job with it. And you're now known in, like, across the country. There's over 250 New Tech Network schools who know the Warrior Broadcasting Crew because of the job you all did down there in such a professional manner. And I was interviewed by someone. I thought, oh, this is like getting interviewed by Channel 5. You know, you did a really fantastic job. We're really proud of what you do. And you do it at a high level. And you're prolific. There's so much content you have out there. Anyway, it's good stuff. Good job.
So I have a question for you, because they asked, since we did it last year, Mr. Denny, do we get to go this year to the NTN Leadership Conference? And I think it's in Seattle?
I think it's New Orleans.
Oh, New Orleans?
We might have to really search the budget.
Is it New Orleans? They've been asking me. They want to go again. They really enjoyed it. And they said, you know, do we get to do it again? And I said, they moved cities. And they said, well, where is it? And I said, New Orleans. And they're like, can we still go?
I do like how you think, though. No, fantastic. So,
Okay, thank you for
Can
having
you say
us.
those addresses again for everyone?
Yes, our X, or Twitter, as people know it, at WWHS Broadcast.
Okay.
And then both Instagram and TikTok are just WW Broadcast.
Thank you.
Couldn't quite get the WWHS.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
All right, Mr. Denny.
well, that was item 9.01. And again, we really appreciate
Yes.
Ms. Holler and the broadcast crew for showing up tonight and sharing some of the great things they're doing with us. 9.02
Yeah.
is the Student Achievement Report. This report this evening will be on the District's One Plan for continuous improvement. And the report will be presented this evening by three of our fine professionals, Ms. Tanya Bray, Executive Director of Student Services, Dr. Adrian Martin, Executive Director of Teaching and Learning grades pre-K through 6, and Dr. Tamara Ragland, Executive Director of Teaching and Learning grades 7 through 12.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight, we're going to go over the one plan for the 2024-2027 school years. In the scope of the one plan, what we did last year in 23-24 was actually do a comprehensive needs assessment over the scope of different data points throughout the CCIP so that we can get an idea of where our needs are. So the steps that we followed, we actually had a needs assessment, which conducted a thorough analysis to identify the primary areas, root cause analysis, examined the underlying factors contributing to the identified needs. We then prioritized the needs to 4 particular goals, which focus on the critical areas that drove the significant improvement for student outcomes. Goal development, where we had to, within the scope of the CCIP, establish clear goals that were measurable in a way that we can track the progress of those goals. The strategy selection within the scope of the program and the system. And with that particular step, we had to kind of connect evidence-based strategies to what we say we were going to do within the scope of the What Works Clearinghouse. Adult measures and monitoring, as well as student measures and monitoring. Then there's action steps, and the last part of this process was linking resources and funding so that we're able to allocate necessary resources to the implementation of the plan. Uh-oh. Oh, oh, there we are. Okay, so within the scope of this plan, it's a shared responsibility. If you see the different steps within the scope of these 2 diagrams, we start with district leadership team and how it's impacted by the support of the building leadership team. The building leadership team supported by the teacher-based teams. Teacher-based teams improve with the support of the teachers. Teachers improve with the support of the students and the families. And then if we see how it's kind of a shared responsibility, if we look at the building leadership teams, they improve with the support from the district leadership teams. Teacher-based teams improve by the support of teacher leadership teams. Teacher improve by the support of TBTs. And the TBTs typically happen on a weekly or bi-weekly basis on various grade levels, grade bands. And of course, students and families improve with the support of teachers and the families. This plan actually outlines the purpose of what we say we are in Winton City Schools, and it focuses on the improvements that we have to make in order to achieve at a higher level between attendance and graduation rates. The key goals of this plan is to increase graduation rates by 2%, improve reading and math proficiency, and reduce chronic absenteeism by 15%, all of which are detailed in the actual long version of the plan.
So we have several goals, the first goal of which is our graduation rate. And our SMART goal in our one plan was to improve the graduation rate by 2% by 2027. And we had key strategies of the utilization of early warning indicators for attendance, behavior, and course performance, as well as interventions that will be monitored each semester. The key measures that we're utilizing to measure this are student measures, which is a 20% increase in discipline data improvement through PBIS, as well as a 15% reduction in chronic absenteeism. And for an adult implementation measure, we will be monitoring our early warning system plan, and the goal there is that all adults, or 100%, will be, there will be 100% improvement because 100% of our adults will be utilizing the plans by 2027.
Goal number 2 is literacy and reading. The SMART goal for this particular goal is to increase literacy performance by 10% by 2027. The key strategies: consistent implementation of the science of reading, adoption of high-quality instructional materials, the development of a district-wide multi-tiered system of support plan, which is definitely in the process. The key measures for students, 30% increase in NWEA MAP and end of course. Adult measures, quarterly monitoring of implementation of the science of reading.
Our next goal is in mathematics. Our SMART goal is to increase math proficiency by 15% by 2027. Our key strategies include adoption of high-quality instructional materials for K-8 math, as well as implementation of Zern math and continuous school improvement buildings. Our measures will be also a 15% increase in NWEA MAP and common assessments, and our adult measure will be 100% participation in the creation of common assessments and professional development, also by 2027.
So goal 4 is for students with disabilities, and the SMART goal is to increase ELA performance by 20% for students with disabilities by 2027. And so everything that Dr. Martin and Dr. Ragland just mentioned is for all students. So in addition to graduation, reading, mathematics, science of reading, we will also be proactive with attendance and behavior interventions with positive behavior and supports for students with disabilities, and also the development of an explicit internal monitoring system for our IEPs and our ETR documents, and also a long-term plan for professional development, which is also in practice as we speak. So some of the key measures, the student measures are for chronic absenteeism data. Data will decrease by 15% by 2027. Discipline referrals will decrease by 15% by 2027. Some of the adult measures, an annual staff PD and intervention specialist PD on inclusion practices and IEP ETR writing. And then also building leadership teams will use data to monitor the progress of attendance, behavior discipline, and course performance. And so the monitoring professional development, we will continue to monitor quarterly meetings to assess progress on goals. So for our professional development, we will continue to focus on the science of reading, mathematics, PBIS, and all those practices that go along with that. And so we are practicing that. We are developing our professional development. We are continuing to monitor our professional development. We have one coming up as we speak. The three of us continue to work together to plan our professional development for all of our teaching staff, administrators, and paraprofessionals.
I do have a question. Under the key strategy for goal number 4, the development of a plan, is it possible when that plan is developed to come back so we can see it or maybe talk about it in a work session? It's for the monitoring for the IEP and ETR documents. Because I know that's a big thing across the country where, for IEPs, making sure they're written correctly, that we're assessing our students in a timely manner by state law. So I just want to make sure that, so that strategy number 2. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes.
Thank you.
That is currently in practice now.
Perfect.
One question that I had, I think we talked a little bit about this before, chronic absenteeism. You want to decrease it by 15%. What are some of the measures that are in place to see that we kind of can monitor that, or what are we doing to, I know you're doing things to improve it, just kind of what does it look like?
So right now at the high school, we have what's called ECOT, which are the acronyms for Each Child on Track. And actually, we just met today to talk about that. So we actually we look at the discipline, we look at some of the things that are put in place to monitor how students are coming to school, some of the things that the high school are putting in place to deter some of the tardiness, some of the absenteeisms. Dr. Ragland, do you want to talk a little bit about that?
So the high school currently has developed a committee structure, and one of their committees is attendance. And so we have a data coach, and they've literally had her at the door to count the number of students who've been tardy to school. As a result of that, they have taken this student count and they've developed an intervention called the Healthy Attendance Seminar, which they will be utilizing this week and meeting with those chronically absent students to discuss habits of positive attendance, and they're going to be tying it to their career interests later on in the year and having them work with career experts in the field that those students identify to reinforce that healthy habits with attendance now will impact your career of choice later and what that's going to look like for them. So I think that's one of the ways, Dr. Johnson, that we are proactively doing that. But we have flat screens all over the middle and high school with attendance. We have public school, not public school, or Parent Square, messages that go out every Wednesday about the importance of attendance. So we have identified what we call Tier 1 or foundational supports for everyone, but we also are now venturing into Tier 2, more focused intervention and supports, and that committee is working on identifying those students who have problems with attendance.
Yeah. And some of those interventions, which lies in my department, is our truancy and compliance officers. And some of those things that take place are, sometimes we do home visits, sometimes we compile a committee in those particular buildings for students who may experience chronic absenteeisms, and they come up with interventions with the parents, the teacher, the principal, the compliance, the truancy compliance officers, and come up with the interventions. How can we prevent the tardies and absences from happening in the future? And so they come up with these goals, they review the goals, and then they come back together and say, okay, I think you're doing a good job, so we'll take you off this intervention list if the tardies and the absences are improving.
As you guys know.
Yes.
Okay, for elementary, one of the things, especially at the ECC, where we went from 4 stars to 1 star, is to develop a similar system. I'm gonna call it early warning because we're gonna hit it from before they actually meet the threshold in our current system, because at that point, that's when they get the IAT, they get the truancy, they get all of that, and we know that those are kindergarten students. So a way to intervene and develop a system to celebrate the parents for bringing the students to school. Because again, they're kindergarten students, they're younger, even elementary. We have to kind of focus in on encouragement around the family unit as opposed to, hey, you're not in school. We have to get where we can get the biggest bang for our buck. And if the parents feel celebrated, then they'll come, they'll send their kids. So that's the goal. That process is it's in process, it's not in place. So we're still trying to figure it out, and especially, and I want to hit the ECC because that's where we got to start. That's where their first interaction of school. So we got to hit it and make them want to come to school, which will in turn encourage the parents to send. So it's a work in progress. We're going to wow ourselves every day, which is working on the work.
And thank you, guys. You probably have heard me in public. You've heard me say before that my morning walks when I'm in town, and how many wonderful warriors I have seen after 8 o'clock, to the point that they run now. So Mr. Stillman asked to join me for a walk one morning, and as we were walking, I didn't see any in Central Park, so thank you. However, we did note that we had quite a few warriors coming in late. One was 9:30, so we're looking at our watches and like, okay, is your watch say 9:30? Mine says 9:30. School started at 8 o'clock. Why are you late? And we did ask, and one gentleman said something about he had to work and his clothes, and we get it, but school starts at 8 o'clock. So I love the fact, especially in the high school, that you're looking at what future career. Because I know in my profession, if you are late, you will get fired. You have 5 or 6 minutes, and those occurrences will happen. And if you're a nurse in a hospital, you will not be a nurse in a hospital. So it's really important that they learn those habits early on. So thank you for tying those together, and thank you, you're right. The elementary school and the preschool, they have no control over who brings them, but getting them excited about learning will do the job, hopefully, for parents. It is really important that your kid is here on time every single day, that this school is in session, and that they're here for the entirety of the school day. So,
Thank you.
I just want to add that along with intervention and helping students who are struggling, the high school is also recognizing those students who are not. So the students who are doing well with attendance, they have their names on the glass when you walk down the main hallway to recognize their attendance. And they are, along with the students who made honor roll for first quarter, they are going to recognize students with perfect attendance and reward them. And Mr. Martin was telling me today that they want to take them bowling. So there's rewards and recognition also.
thank you. That is great.
And it's just want to throw the first slide, I don't know how to go back. How do you go back? All the way
Which
to the,
one?
the relationships.
Tell me when to stop.
Okay. Oh, no, one more. Oh, two more. Right here. We have a building leadership team, a district leadership team meeting. And when we get all of our leaders together with their teacher leaders, the building admins, a lot of information exchange is happening. So some of the ideas around attendance we talked about in district leadership team, because the buildings share out. That's a way for all of the buildings to kind of get ideas to build their toolkit to do something different. Even if it's a high school initiative, it could possibly be implemented at an elementary level. So we do take those meetings to kind of hear what's going on and what's impactful in different areas so that we can share the wealth of goodness throughout the district.
Thank you.
Yes.
I made some notes so I've read the report and I read the educational steps. And I guess first of all, I'd like to say for the record that Winton Woods Schools has a capacity for excellence. Tonight we heard from the Warrior Broadcasting Club. It's a school where sports like football and basketball and other sports are premier programs. The football program is going to the tournament again. Where the choral, the music, the band, the theater, and the drama programs also fit that adjective, as does the AGS program. Last year, we had almost 70 students that were academic scholars. That's incredible. We have programs that are to be praised. I understand about your program. I had coffee with the superintendent last Friday, and as President Deborah Bryant mentioned, her and I went walking one day just to talk about this. I understand that the state, via their consultants, assisted with the development of the goals and the plan, and it's my understanding that this is acceptable to them. I also understand that 81.25% of our students are economically disadvantaged, and this statistic significantly impacts our results, just like any other school, any other school that has a statistic like that. My background is not education. I managed a construction company, and I focused my campaign when I ran for this position on academic excellence. However, I personally do not believe that this program is aggressive enough, and I would prefer additions. I've sat down with the superintendent, as I mentioned, and with the board president. Schools are about education. That has to be the primary focus. Distractions that impact learning in a negative manner must be minimized and eliminated. Along with that, activities that enhance actual social conversations and interactions should be emphasized. On Fridays, I volunteer as an AGS mentor this year. The mentoring occurs, as many of you know, from 7:10 to 7:50. As I'm leaving the high school the past couple weeks, I've been surprised at the number of students that are tardy. The line went outside the vestibule. The vestibule was full. It went outside the vestibule, and there were numerous kids still being dropped off by their parents, and I could see them scattered over the parking lot. Some have good reasons for tardiness, and as Deborah said, we talked to them. A number of students do not seem to care that they are late. The attitude or mindset of the students must change to alter the behavior. You can monitor it, but if they don't seem to care, surely this can be dealt with in a positive manner with specificity. I'm told that the one plan goals are realistic and achievable within a time frame of 3 years. Then we must pray for a miracle. Thank you.
Can I add, Mr. Spielman, that we are on track to exceed our graduation rate right now? It is unofficial because it is in our secure data center and it has not been published. But our 2024 graduation rate, as it stands right now, exceeds what is listed in that one plan. And hopefully that is what gets published next year. And I think that while it's doable, our graduation rate, as well as what's happened with our special ed profile, which Ms. Bright can discuss, we are making improvements, some gradual, but moving forward in progress in a number of ways. But I hear you. We still have work to do.
Yeah, Mr. Smith, did you have a comment?
Definitely.
That's why I finished with, I need to pray for a miracle. Because I don't think we're getting there fast enough. And Mr. Denny told me that, if we reach these goals, that's an accomplishment. That's why the state, as I understand it, the state consultant was involved in this and said these are good.
I'll be the first to say, we have a ton of great things going on. We're not perfect. I mean, just like you started with, there's a lot of great things
We have to
happening.
start with, there are many great things. And I don't want to do anything to speak to the detriment of all the good things. But then we have these kids that don't fit in that top group. And we have to do our best to make sure when they graduate, they not only, they got to be able to get more than a minimum wage job or have this character to go. They don't get fired in their first day because they're tardy. They don't show up. I didn't know I had to be here at 8 o'clock.
Mr. Spielman, I appreciate your comment. Very well articulated. But I also have to challenge the parents.
The challenge too.
I also have to send a challenge out to the parents. The school district can't do everything. The school district cannot raise your child. If your child is tardy, you need to handle that as the parent. The school can't continuously discipline your child and teach them how to be on time. It starts at the home and it ends at the home. Now the district must do their job and do it, as our previous superintendent used to say, with fidelity. But it starts at the home.
Oh, yes.
Chronic tardiness is something that must start by being addressed at the home. Now, I don't diminish the responsibility of the school district, and I appreciate what we're doing. And we definitely need to continue to do more because we have to show as a district that we are supporting the efforts that are that should be happening at home. But I'm not going to sit up here and act like we, as the district, need to take on some type of grand effort to, for lack of a better word, discipline these kids. Because there's only so much we as a school district can do. What do you want us to do? Suspend them? That's not going to help the situation.
No.
What do you want us to do? oh, well, you're late. Now you got to be outside of your class. That's not going to help. What's going to help is if these parents are at home saying, get up and go to class. Get up and be on time. Now, this may be the speech that doesn't get me reelected next term. I'm cool with it. But I see the comments on Facebook. I see the emails that are sent. Everybody has a lot to say, but nobody wants to work in this village to help our young people.
I just say to both of your points, we have an obligation, a professional obligation that we all take really seriously. These are some very dedicated people that really believe and love our kids. And love and structure is how we build and evolve the Warrior Way. But we invite our parents as well. We can't do it alone. I mean, look at our vision. Our vision statement is excellence, right? Achieved by everybody involved. And so it does take a village. So I think you're both making points that are valid, and we have a lot of work to do. But we've also accomplished a lot, and I think we celebrate those things, but keep moving and invite our parents into the process. We need the support of our community, our business partners, and those are things that we're working on as well. So thank you.
Thank you. And I want to thank you ladies for coming and presenting the one plan, and thank you both. We don't always agree on everything, but what we do agree on is this is a good district and we have work to do. So I appreciate both perspectives, and we're going to keep moving. And to the parents listening, please, partner with us, help us achieve and be the best school district. I agree. We have the makings of an excellent school district, and I'm glad to know that the data is going to support that. So, thank you.
And I would just like to highlight one thing about the high school. In lieu of the tardies, that there were over 500 students that made honor roll for first quarter. So that's something to be celebrated. So that was announced today in our meeting this afternoon. So there was almost 510 actually that made first quarter honor roll for the high school. So congratulations to those high school students.
Thank you.
And
Yes,
if I
that's
might,
great news.
Ms. Bray, would you like to announce what we just found out Friday?
Yes, so on Friday, it was announced that our special ed rating met requirements, which is the highest rating for special education for Winton Woods, for the Department of Education for the state of Ohio. So congratulations to the entire Winton Woods School District and all the teachers that help our students with disabilities. Thank you.
And since we're celebrating, for our fourth grade ELA and math, we exceeded the expected growth from the state, which we just got those reports this week, last week?
Yes.
Yeah, and then on fifth grade or sixth grade, we exceeded it, or we met it in ELA. So we are growing our kids. We're doing a lot to strategize to make that outcome a little bit different. And I appreciate the work and worth of all of our staff who go hands in, do everything they can to make it the best place and space for our community.
And I would also like to add that the high school met or exceeded expectations for growth on all of its
End of course.
end of course, thank you, end of course exams, all of them. So,
End of course, like for first quarter? Is that what you're-
no, so those are the
Last year.
exams that they have to take at the end of certain courses. So for example, Algebra 1 and ELA 2, those two end of course exams are actually graduation requirements. There's a certain score students have to make on those two in particular, but there are several others as well. And so that growth or the progress as is reported on our report card, we met or exceeded the growth expectations.
Thank you.
And that's as determined by the state of Ohio. Yeah. Hey, thanks everyone for your presentation and your time. Thank you for
Thank you.
that. Thank you.
All right, next item on the agenda is the open enrollment report, 9.03.
Thank you, Ms. Bryant. So this report 9.03 is an update on open enrollment. We typically do this time of year, just to provide the board with some data around this. In addition, there'll be a general enrollment update as well, so it sits in the context of that. And this report will be presented by Ms. Rhonda Hobbs, Director of Technology.
Coming soon.
Thank you for the opportunity to share some logistics and number crunching with you. So I'm Rhonda Hobbs, the Director of Technology and also Enrollment Supervisor, EMA Supervisor. And 4162 is the current number of students that we have at Winton Wood City Schools. This number changes daily with all of our withdrawals and our admissions, but this is the number when we ran the report last week. It's broken down by by the campus enrollments. So North Campus, 2021, South Campus, 1726, and Central Campus, 415. You can see the building breakdowns as well. Our high school is at 1416, middle school 605, intermediate 609, elementary 566, primary south 551, and our early childhood again 415. Here's our two-year enrollment trends, because I thought you might want to see, are we growing, are we not growing? So the high school's just approximately the same, 1423 to 1416. Our middle school lost about 55 students, so 660 to 605. Our intermediate school went up from 573 to 609. Elementary school, 564 to 566, about the same. Primary South, about the same, 558 to 551. And our early childhood center grew from 357 to 415. I was wondering if this had anything to do with our new facility and space to accommodate some more students as well. These were the numbers presented about the same time last year at the board meeting, so these are the documented ones that we have on file. Here's our grade level breakdowns. You can see the numbers are higher here as we get lower in the chart, which is our North Campus. And you saw that we had more students at our North Campus than we did at our South Campus. Demographic data breakdowns. Thought this was pretty interesting. Our EL students, or English language learners, 786, or 18.89%. Versus our IEP students at 589 or 14.15%. So we're really growing our EL population, and it's pretty obvious in our numbers. Our gifted students, 180, and our 504 students, 100. Continued demographic data, 2,207 Black non-Hispanics, Hispanic students, 1,158, multiracials, 360, white non-Hispanics, 280, our Asians, 137, our Native Hawaiian and other Pacific Islanders, 17, and our American Indians, Alaskan, 3. Our newly enrolled students, this one was a fun number for me to celebrate the enrollment team and the hard work they've done this year. 823 new students since July 1st have kind of gone through our gates. So we're a district that really churns with the ins and the outs. We see the same students coming back to us, and 823 new enrollments, but they're not new enrollments. They withdraw and they come back, or they withdraw and come back. Our open enrollment numbers, we have 322 students placed out that belong to Winton Woods, and we have 307 incoming open enrollment students. So that's a little bit of a wash. And I wanted to give a friendly reminder to our families who have not completed their annual verifications to please update final form so you can stay in touch and be involved with Parent Square, and we can communicate with you. So please update your information. Any questions?
823 new students. Woo.
For sure.
But when you say, so going back to the 823 new students, so that's just, you said that's in and out across all grade levels, so that's
Correct.
not just.
Families coming through the enrollment center to enroll this year. And some are re-entries and some are brand new.
So with reentries, what do they move out of the district and move back in? Is that how that works?
Yes.
One thing, this is just an observation, when you look at the grade level count, so we've got the preschool at 121, but then kindergarten's 294, so we have a lot of students, the first time they're coming through is kindergarten, 'cause not all, so what can we do to change that, so they're starting in preschool, and that we can start, like you said, those good behaviors earlier in kindergarten?
I know, obviously, by increasing the size of the building and having new spaces and being able to create additional sections, you know, that gives us the foundation and the opportunity to grow the preschool.
I'll just build on what she shared. It comes down to staffing. I mean,
I was gonna ask that because.
Yes, Dr.
Does
Johnson.
the state really fund preschool and so that's the
No.
other thing. It's staffing and money, you know, because, I mean, as much as we know that foundation is important and making that happen, we have to find a way to fund
for
it, you know, as far as teachers and, you know, classroom, you know, content and
Yeah.
so, yeah.
To fully expand, it would be, I believe, 6 more preschool teachers. We're currently at 6 preschool teachers, and that's some all day and some part day to accommodate the different requests from the families. But our kindergarten is fully staffed, but the state of Ohio, even for kindergarten, only funds it at half an ADM per student.
Yes.
So, because the state minimum and the state law only requires half-day kindergarten.
That's the problem, really, with trying to build a foundation,
foundation.
like what we're
Yes.
trying to do.
Yes, ma'am.
Is we also, but we know that in the long run, it helps us
Absolutely.
on, you know, on the other side as they grow into the program. One thing I wanted to ask about the demographic data, the chart where you had the little pie charts, you had, 14.15, I think, % for the IEP students. And then the 504, you had just 100 students. Aren't, some of those numbers, aren't they interchangeable or not? I mean, like the 504 students, aren't they on IEPs? Or no, not
The
necessarily?
IEP student was the one actually calculated with a designated student with a disability versus the 504.
Oh,
So they're
okay.
coded differently in our
Okay,
information
okay,
system.
Okay, so
They're
they
separated.
don't reflect any of the same
No,
students?
it would be 14.15 plus 2.4.
Okay, okay, all right.
They're separate
16
designations
point,
by law.
yeah.
Those are students that are in our district. So we have students that we're responsible for that can be placed elsewhere, that are outside of our district also. So those are some of our kids, not all of our kids.
Okay,
So out of that 322, some of them are the special ed designated kids that they're placed out of the district, but we're responsible for.
Yeah, so
Okay.
that's part of our numbers. So
Okay.
The
we
504 number.
approximately have almost 800 total.
These are just the ones that are serviced in the
These are the
district.
ones that we service
Makes
in the
sense.
district.
And similarly with the EL students, there's a state requirement to do some monitoring of the students, and they have exited the program, but we still monitor them for up to 2 years, and those numbers are not included in the EL counts either.
okay.
Tell you that those EL numbers are closer to 1,000. The last number I saw was about 980. They're almost 25% of our district.
And our students with disabilities are closer to 60% total.
Wow, okay, well, that solved that.
Guess that answers the 31
We don't need
spoken
to,
languages.
they don't need to be included in that. Enough said, thank you. Wow, that's interesting.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, thank
All
you.
right, thank you, Ms. Hobbs,
Thank you.
for that presentation.
All right, Mr. Denny. Next item on the agenda is 9.04. Mr. Denny?
Thank you, Ms. Bryant. So 9.04 is a new hire report, includes all categories of staffing, so classified as well as certificated. And to present this report, we'll be joined this evening by Ms. Courtney Wilson, Executive Director of Human Resources and Legal Services.
Good evening.
Good evening.
In just a second, you'll have in front of you just a summary of our new hires. It's pretty straightforward. It just shows the categories of staff that we've hired to date. We looked back through from May until present, through the end of September. And as you can see, the categories for classified, meaning non-teaching staff that don't have certificates, we've hired bus drivers, classroom aides, food service workers, clerical staff, and security. Let's see. Maybe I should look this way. And so as you can see that we've hired 5 bus drivers to replace 4. We have a total of, I think, 29 bus drivers, and our bus drivers, it's an interesting thing. It's kind of a revolving door, truthfully. Even though we have 29 currently on staff, some of them are on leaves, either intermittent or long-term leave, so we're not always at full capacity in terms of our staffing. So that's been a challenge for us. Classroom aides, same situation. We get a good one, then we lose a good one. And part of that is it's getting harder and harder to attract and retain 9-month employees because most people need 12 months of salary. And so what I'm finding is people are very excited when they come into an interview. They want to work here. They love children. They think Winton Woods is awesome. A lot of them live in the community. And then when I explain to them that it's 9 months of salary stretched over 12 months, they do the calculation and they decide, oh, I can't afford to work for 9 months. So that has really been a challenge. So we've tried to be creative in ways to address that we don't necessarily start everyone on step 0 or 1 anymore. This is our classified staff. We have to do some creative things where we have to kind of meet them where they are in order to make sure that our students with disabilities in particular, we have coverage. Food service, we are doing a good job. Mark Doctor's doing a great job at keeping us staffed there. And then clerical and security, we haven't had a ton of turnover in those areas. With respect to teaching staff, oh, well, here's just a summary, I'm sorry. And you've got this before you for information purposes, and if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. I'll just go down to our teaching staff. And this is just a look at all of the different positions and people that we've hired since May. Believe it or not, this is less than we've had to do in prior years, so our retention is a little bit better this year, or significantly better this year. Past years, we've had upwards of 50, 60 new hires, so we're getting better about that. I think people like the new buildings in some respects. I think that, with air condition, that makes a huge difference, and lack of leaky roofs and things like that goes a long way. We've had to fill some positions with long-term subs, and so these are the people that we've had to do that with, and these people, we're working with them and encouraging them to get full licensure through the state, either by going back to school and taking advantage of our tuition reimbursement or Grow Your Own program, or alternative licensure. So I'm happy to address any questions if you have any about some of our new hires.
Just a question, like when you say, I know you talked about the bus drivers, but 5 new hires and 4 resignations, does that mean we're down 1? Or does that mean you're up 1, but that means just as many left as came?
So it means that on paper, it looks like we're +1.
Right, that's what I'm
But with
saying.
our leaves, and some of them are long-term leaves, and some of them are intermittent leaves, meaning that they have kind of chronic illnesses that take them, they're in and out. So on any given day, we may not be fully staffed with our bus drivers. So we try to keep a couple for sub purposes, but like I said, with the staff attendance, that's not always possible. Jeremy, did you want to say anything else about the?
I know the buildings, at their level, they've done a really good job communicating with the families whenever there's a bus that's being late, things outside of the subcontract.
And one of the creative ways that we've addressed some of the coverage issues is through incentivizing doubling up routes. So we're paying drivers when they agree to take extra routes when they're covering for their peers. And that's helped a lot. That was it.
It has, and it's cheaper than hiring more subs, but not that we're against hiring more subs. We're definitely in the business of, like, you're constantly in full motion trying to hire bus drivers, but we're competing with every district around us. We're competing with Metro, anyone that's got a CDL. That's the competition. So it's pretty fierce.
They only work so many hours a day too. It's not like they get
Right.
a full 8-hour day out of it.
And and that's another 9-month position.
Yes,
That, now you can go to Target and work 12 months
Yeah.
and make as much as,
Sure.
so.
I get it.
All right, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Ms. Wilson.
Next item on the agenda is 9.05 facility update. Superintendent Denny, you have the floor.
Thank you, President Bryant. 9.05 is the facility update, and this report will be presented by Mr. Jeremy Day, Executive Director of Business Affairs.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Facility report this month, the subcontractor for Sailhorse Construction, they're in the middle of the abatement process right now of the June Field property, Beechwood Elementary and Primary North. They should be complete with that around middle of next week is what they're thinking. It's gone pretty quick from what their timeline initially was, which was nice. We actually have a kickoff meeting tomorrow afternoon to talk through the actual logistics and timeframe of things. One big thing that we've been trying to do, which I know we do this with every building that we've vacated, is we try to reach out to the first responders to make sure they get training days in there and things like that. And quite a few already have taken advantage of that. Forest Park Police, they've scheduled a big training with multiple municipalities, SWAT teams to come in and do training. The Forest Park Fire Department also did. They always include Green Hills, Springfield Township, and neighboring municipalities. After the abatement process, we're trying to get it's going to be a tight time frame, but we're trying to get Green Hills Fire in there one more time. Because they got their day shift guys, but they didn't get any of the night shift guys. So they want to try to get everybody trained in different trainings. Springfield Township Police reached out to me last week also about trying to get some, again, guys that weren't available during the initial training with Forest Park to be able to come in. So I'm going to try to get that to happen. It's going to be a tight time frame, but we got to wait at this point for the asbestos to be gone, obviously. As soon as that's gone, then we probably have a little bit of a time frame to do that. Okay. One final thing is we have a boardroom update. For the ECCC campus. Curtain should be arriving this week and should be installed Thursday or Friday. Now, what I would suggest and hope you guys will want to do, Mr. Denny can kind of help facilitate this, and I'll help as much as you would want or need. I would suggest going over, taking a look at the place, seeing how you like it, see how it functions for you, and see if there's any kind of adjustments we need to make. By all means, invite me there, but I'll have Mr. Denny coordinate that with you guys.
Sure.
Great, thank you. That's exciting news.
It is. It's going to be a nice space for you guys. And even like tonight, you have a lot of people here getting recognitions, which is awesome, in a tight space. So it's going to be a lot better setup, I think, for you guys. It'll be nice.
With the curtain.
So once he's verified that the curtain's in, I'll be sure to update
Yeah.
the board, and we can arrange a chance for you to come out and
Didn't
see it in
somebody
person, and if you have any questions.
Because
Ms.
we
Bryant?
could have been meeting there now, but there was a certain board member who will remain nameless.
Oh, that was me.
And we could have got off of these chairs.
Once again, that was me.
Who wanted the curtain installed and matching, but
Absolutely.
It is going to be very nice. I mean,
Great.
it's going to be it's going to match really, really well. It's going to be, the old curtain there was, it's going through its time. Let's say that.
No, say what you mean. It was ugly.
It's going through its
Say
time.
what you mean. It was ugly. We didn't want that.
It served us well.
It served us well for a number of years.
Its time has passed.
this one's
Y'all
green,
like it.
blue.
It
Is
was
it
ugly.
green? Is there a new one
I'm
green or blue?
excited. I'm excited about getting to move into our.
Yeah, I think you guys will
new
like
space.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
you'll
been
like
a long time.
Yes,
you know.
yes, it has. Yes, it
really
has.
has been a long time.
Yes, it has. Yes. A lot of people will be very happy about the move, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if there's any other further questions, or?
No. Good.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Day. Appreciate that presentation as well.
All right. Let's see, next on the agenda, superintendent recommendations. Mr. Denny, I think you have like everything for the next, I don't know,
Yeah.
10 points. So I'm just gonna say, here, it's yours. Just go for it.
Take it away. All right,
Yeah,
I will,
take it
I will
away.
proceed. Thank you for that. 10.01 is personnel schedules. So Ms. Wilson will be joining us again this evening to go over those schedules. Ms. Wilson.
Yeah. Before you, you have Schedules A, which are resignations, Schedule B, which is certificated staff, Schedule C, classified staff, Schedule D, supplemental contracts, Schedule E, leaves of absences, and Schedule M, unfortunately, terminations. So I would ask that you approve them as presented, and if you have any questions, I'm happy to address them.
Board, a motion is in order.
I move we approve the personnel schedules as presented.
I second it. It's been moved in second. Any questions or items for discussion? Okay, seeing none, Mr. Seymour, will you call for the vote?
I have a question.
Oh, question? Okay, sorry.
And this is just because I've never seen this before, on Schedule D, what does a Warrior Bell leader do?
I'm gonna phone a friend. Dr. Ragland, do
I
you
can
know?
speak to it a bit too, and Dr. Ragland, if you want to add to it.
What does a Warrior Bell leader do?
So the high school is divided.
Oh, can you, I don't think you can hear you, sorry.
So our friends at Waycross can
Yes, thank
also
you.
hear.
So the high school is divided into small learning communities. And so the Warrior Bell leader is the facilitator, if you will, or the leader of Warrior Bell, they have students who are designated in those small learning communities, and that time is for the purpose of intervention. So the high school has their MTSS plan, and they deliver intervention services in Warrior Bell, and every student is assigned to a bell. So that person is the leader for that small learning community.
So the stipend is to help acknowledge the added work for coordinating all those student groups and all that movement. They use SmartPass to track students so they know where they're headed and where they're coming from and where they're going. It's actually pretty remarkable that the high school is able to pull this off during the day. There's many area high schools that don't have an during the day intervention. Now, the board's aware, and I think our community is largely aware, that we run after school tutoring or extra time, extra help for kids at the end of the day, middle school and high school. And there's programming coming for the South Campus as well. But during the day is a whole different situation when it comes to high school because of the master schedule and the credits. And so that's what Warrior Bell does, essentially allows kids to get extra time, extra help, intervention or enrichment during the school day.
Is it essentially like, it takes place at the study hall, or not, really?
No.
No.
It targets students with literacy and or math interventions.
So what time where's the time if it's not a study hall or?
So
is it
it's
between
it's
what?
literally in the middle of the day, so in between lunches. And it's 30 minutes.
There's two of them and they're 30 minutes each.
Okay.
2 or 3, there's two, right? Two Warrior Bells, and they're 30 minutes each. It's also a chance, I think, for students to do other activities if they're meeting their grade level
Yes.
achievement targets.
They can have club meetings during that time also.
And we've been working on how do we get opportunities for kids at North Campus to see the health center here at South Campus. So we would target the Warrior Bell time. That's being studied right now. So that's there's just a lot you can do when you know kids aren't going to miss frontline instruction.
Right.
So it's an opportunity for that. And it is new. So to your point, Mr. Smith, yes.
Well, I've heard a lot about Warrior Bell, and I know there's a lot of things that happen within Warrior Bell. So when I saw that, I just thought it'd be good to know what that is.
It's a great question.
I do have another question. It's under extra duties as well. It just says Chick-fil-A leadership.
Yeah.
It's the principals are given funding to support creative teacher ideas. And so I think for those of you that were on the board last year, we brought to you some of the supplementals so that when you have questions like that. And so if you'd like, I could invite them to, because I don't really know what they're doing, but it's obviously something that a teacher thought of and thought was creative and had an interest in. So if you'd like, we could invite them to a board meeting to maybe present and share.
Yeah, I would like to.
Yeah.
Like I said, it just says Chick-fil-A leadership. So
Yeah.
are they cooking up
it's-
chicken or
No,
we,
no, no.
No.
It's,
we
I
serving
think it's,
chicken? What are we doing?
I think it's kind of like Disney. You know how certain companies have leadership principles that are high yield leadership strategies. I think Chick-fil-A is one of those companies that has like a whole philosophy behind their leadership.
Yeah.
It's sort of like Disney. That's what I think it is, but
Probably
I'm
wanna
happy to
highlight
invite
that
the
in a meeting.
sponsor.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Hear more
I
from them.
believe they even partner with Chick-fil-A. There's a representative from Chick-fil-A
Okay.
that partners with our staff member. In this case, you can see it's Ms. Rosas. But they bring their Chick-fil-A leadership and service model, I believe. And so I know this was going on last year as well. But one of the things Ms. Bryant actually communicated recently was picking a month to just do an extracurricular update. And so that's something we'll look for. You know, we do different updates, different months, and so we can certainly include that as a part of it. One of the things I don't know if our community knows, but I know that we know is what our high school and middle school pull off, and even our grade schools, for extra opportunities for kids, clubs, organizations, service opportunities. It's pretty remarkable, especially for a building of our size, a district of our size. So that's why there's so many stipends, but it's part of the opportunities that are present for the kids.
Another question?
Very good.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none, Mr. Seymour, will you call for the vote?
Aye.
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Bryant?
Aye. That vote passes unanimously.
Thank you, Board, and thank you, Ms. Wilson, for that as well. And Dr. Ragland as well for filling in some of the information requested as well. 10.02 is revised ESL tutor job description. And so, Board, you should have before you this updated ESL tutor job description. It's been revised to reflect more current practices and also some language at the end that's required. And so the requested action would be to approve this as presented.
Madam President, I'd like to make a motion to approve the ESL tutor job description as presented.
I'll second that.
It's been motioned and second. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, Mr. Seymour, will you call for the vote?
Mr. Spielman?
Aye.
Dr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Bryant?
Aye. That vote passes unanimously.
Thank you again, Board. 10.03 are the proposals for overnight extended student trips. In this case, these would be for the Academy of Global Studies at Winton Woods High School. All of these trips take place during the spring of 2025. There is one form per grade level, so 9 through 12. And as is customary, these appear before the board this time of year, and as is required by board policy, for any overnight extended trip that the board is involved in, the board does approve those prior to the trip commencing. So you have before you all four proposals, and the request this evening respectfully would be that you approve these trip proposals as presented.
Thank you. Superintendent Denny.
I move we approve the proposals for overnight extended student trips, Academy of Global Studies at Winton Woods High School for the spring of 2025 as presented.
I'll second.
It's been motioned and second. Any questions? I do have a question.
Sure.
I noticed on, let me see which proposal, the first proposal for the 9th grade as well as the 10th grade, they just have, so the 10th grade one listed, I'm sorry, with the 9th grade one, just says we'll visit multiple locations. Okay, so they do list it out. Never mind. I just thought I missed it. I didn't see the specificity at first, and I was like, wait a minute, just multiple locations. Where exactly are you going? But no, I'm good with that.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
I guess my only thought behind this is just looking at the dates. I believe 2 of the dates overlap. And so, actually, 2 of the dates overlap. So, in terms of staffing, from a district standpoint, we're going to be covered, right?
Yeah, we'll
because
have to
if you
be,
see,
yes.
like, it's either the 19th through the 21st or 17th through 19th. Obviously, Mr. Armstead is clever and as witty as he is. I don't believe he can be in 2 different places at one time.
Because the
And
9th
so-
grade and the 12th grade trip are the same week,
Yeah.
the same day.
And then it's same thing for the other one. So, just
I think they're both in the same state. Are they not? Well, the 10th
Let's-
grade is,
So when I was looking at it, maybe I was.
10th and 11th are the same.
Yeah.
Date.
Are we
Or
seeing
no,
this,
they're not. They're actually different. You're right.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying?
Oh, my.
Let me take a look at the,
So, 11th grade is in DC.
Yep.
Yes.
And then I
in New
think
York.
it's the 10th grade. I'm sorry. Yes, it's the 10th grade is in New York.
And
And
then
so I'm
somebody else-
looking at those type of things.
Yeah.
And just trying to understand what the, because, you know, I'm assuming that principals go and certain leadership go, so we have enough coverage on those when we have competing.
what I'm looking for is the list of staff that are assigned to each trip to see.
Yeah,
if-
it's drilled down. I think it's, well, they don't necessarily identify who. They just said it will be a so-and-so,
Yes.
a principal or this or that.
They're gonna have to split it up.
Right.
I mean, if that's the case, so what I can do is take a note to verify that everything is covered. I mean,
Yeah, it's one of those, I mean, obviously, our
I would
ATS
assume it
department,
is.
They take these trips all the time. You know, there are certain entities that take trips all the time, so they're accustomed to it. But it's just very interesting that I saw, you know, 2 different trips by one group going on at the same time, understanding that, you know,
Right.
Mr. Omson's kind of the leader of that. I just want to make sure
He
we're
obviously
properly
couldn't
covered.
be at all of them, I guess is what
Exactly.
you're
So,
saying.
and like I
Good
said,
point.
it's not a.
Can't bilocate.
Yeah, it's not gonna hold up anything right now, but just, I want to make sure we keep eyes on that to make sure that, you know, that conflict.
of course.
It's a very good catch.
From personnel resources. I mean, I've been on plenty of field trips, so I know what it takes in terms of personnel and taking students out and all that kind of stuff. And we just want to make sure that the district isn't liable for anything.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. I'll make sure I follow up on that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? No. Great questions. Mr. Seymour, will you call for the vote?
Mr. Spielman,
Aye.
Dr. Johnson,
Aye.
Mr. Smith,
Aye.
Ms. Bryant.
Aye. The vote passes unanimously. Superintendent Denny?
Thank you, Board. 10.04 is Memorandum of Understanding for the Science of Reading between the Winton Woods Board of Education and the Winton Woods Teachers Association, WWTA. Board, one of the things you noticed earlier in the presentation on the one plan is that science of reading is part of that plan. It's required in the state of Ohio to implement the science of reading across all districts in the state, all 609 of them. 10.04 is a way to streamline that process for both the board and our staff and the treasurer's office and our teachers. So what you have before you, board, is a memorandum of understanding between the two that essentially allows state-provided compensation, and I'll describe the mechanism for that briefly, but state-provided compensation for all the professionals in the district that complete the required training to be paid, basically at the end of each semester, as opposed to bringing it to the board every month as those are completed. So the district actually pays it out of the district budget, and then the state reimburses it at the end of those payments during this fiscal year. And that's something Mr. Seymour and his office is working on diligently at this time and has been for quite a while. Our teaching and learning department is basically collecting certificates once you complete the required online training outside the school day, so it's not double dipping. The teachers are compensated for that. Administrators like our team and myself are required to do it as well. We are not compensated, and that is part of the gig. But the teachers are, and it is outside the school day, and then essentially, once they complete it, their certificate comes over to teaching and learning. We catalog that. There's this big form that has to be filled out that's also monitored by the state, and then the treasurer's office would use that information to compensate those people once they've completed their training. And I'm doing an information dump here, apologies for that, but just wanted to explain what this is, and it's coming to you essentially to streamline that process as much as possible and make it efficient in carrying out the payments for the teachers. So, board, the recommended action would be to approve the memorandum of understanding, the MOU for the science of reading between the Board of Education and WWTA as presented.
I'll make a motion to approve the memorandum of understanding for the science of reading between the Winton Woods Board of Education and the Winton Woods Teacher Association as presented.
I'll second.
It's been motioned and second. Any questions or items for discussion? I do just want to clarify something, Mr. Denny. So the way the state has said that we have to train is online, so there's an online curriculum. And the reason I mention this, I was at an event on Friday evening at a university in Indiana, and their president of this university talked about the science of reading. and how they partnered with their Educators College, partnered with the local school districts, and they were able to raise their reading scores like 1,000 points across different schools. And it made me wonder, I'm like, could we partner? Could we reach out and find out what they did and how they did it so we could kind of model it here? So I wasn't sure what the state of Ohio had in mind, but if we're interested, I can give you that information offline.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
mean, whatever we can do to get those scores up. So I thought it was interesting to hear a college talk about what they were doing for science of reading in their state. Like you don't normally hear colleges talk about what's happening in the K-12 world, so it's interesting.
Yeah, please, if you can forward that, I can route it accordingly. We can
Absolutely.
certainly look into it.
Great. All right, anybody else? Seeing
Oh,
none?
we're
Ms.
ready?
Stewart?
I'm
Yep.
sorry. Mr. Spielman?
Aye.
Dr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Bryant?
Aye, that vote passes unanimously. All right.
Thank you again, Board. 10.05 is the revised 25-26 calendar. And you should have before you that version of the calendar for next school year. And Board, the recommended action would be to approve the revised 25-26 district calendar as presented.
I move we approve the revised 25-26 district calendar as presented.
I'll second.
It's been motioned and second. Any discussion? Points of clarification?
Mr. Spielman?
Aye.
Dr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Bryant?
Aye, that vote passes unanimously. All right.
Thank you again, Board. Similar to 10.05, 10.06 is the 26-27 district calendar. And so you should have that also before you. Board, of course, the goal is always for planning purposes, whether it's assessments, it's vacations for people that have vacation days, planning for the start of the school year and so forth for our teaching staff. We try to get out 2 years just to make sure that we're ahead and providing that framework and structure and information for our staff and our students and our families all to be able to use. So that is the reason for 26-27 coming now, so we can again have that 2-year cycle out in front of the district from a planning standpoint. So the recommended action, Board, would be to kindly approve the 26-27 district calendar as presented.
I make a motion to approve the 26-27 district calendar as presented.
I'll second.
It's been motioned and second. Any questions? I did want to just add, for both calendars, that the graduation dates are not on here.
Yeah.
So the public, when you see the calendars, please note that we did not leave them off intentionally. They were left off intentionally. And Mr. Denny, if you want to talk a little bit about
Yeah,
why
thank you
that
so
is.
much, Ms. Bryant, for that. That is absolutely accurate. Graduation was typically known to be a certain day and a certain month, and now because of where we really like to host our graduation, which is at the Cintas Center at the University at Xavier University, the way they've changed it is their own graduation system and structure has changed, and it's caused a ripple effect to all the participating high schools that use the Cintas Center, including Winton Woods High School. So essentially, we will have to return to the board later once we are able to negotiate those contracts and come back. We want to make sure that the board's approving that because graduation is a legal process. It's governed by quite a few different sections of Ohio Revised Code, as well as board policy. And so at this time, we don't know them, but when we do, we'll come back to the board with those graduation dates, and we'll be able to present those to the board at that time and the public and reapprove that, as it were. So,
Great.
but thank you, Ms. Bryant, for bringing that up and reminding us of that.
Oh, any other questions? Seeing none, Mr. Seymour? Call for the vote?
Mr. Spielman?
Aye.
Dr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Bryant?
Aye, that vote passes unanimously. Superintendent Denny?
Thank you, Board. 10.07 is a series, this begins a series of 3 resolutions, 10.07, 10.08, and 10.09. So the first resolution is National School Psychology Week. It is November 11 through 15. And so to honor the work of our school psychologists and all that they do, the recommended action would be to approve the resolution, National School Psychology Week, November 11 through 15, 2024, as presented.
Okay. Mr. Smith?
All right. Whereas Winton Woods City School District schools can more effectively ensure that all students are able to learn when they meet the needs of the whole child and provide integrated, multi-tiered supports. And whereas all children and youth learn best when they are healthy, supported, and receive an education that enables them to strive, grow, and thrive academically, socially, and emotionally. Children's mental health is directly linked to their learning and development, and the learning environment provides an optimal context to promote good mental health. And whereas sound psychological principles are integral to instruction and learning, social and emotional development, prevention, early intervention, and school safety, and supporting culturally diverse student populations. And whereas school psychologists are specially trained to deliver a continuum of mental health and services, academic supports that lower barriers to teaching and learning, and help children to thrive by nurturing their individual strengths across both personal and academic endeavors. School psychologists are trained to assess student and school-based barriers to learn as well as barriers learning as well as individual strengths, utilize data-based decision-making, implement research-driven prevention and intervention strategies, and evaluate outcomes and improve accountability. And whereas it is appropriate to recognize the vital role that school psychologists play in the personal and academic development of Winton Woods City School District students, therefore, be it resolved that the Winton Woods City School District Board of Education encourages all district students and staff to join in the observance of National School Psychology Week, November 11th through the 15th, 2024, and observance of future National School Psychology Weeks as declared by the National Association of School Psychologists, adopted this 28th day of October, 2024.
Thank you so much. Brady? Board, a motion is in order?
Madam President, I'd like to make a motion to approve the resolution for National School Psychology Week, November 11th through the 15th, 2024, as presented.
I'll second.
It's been motioned in second. Any questions? Discussion? Mr. Seymour?
Mr. Spielman?
Aye.
Dr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Bryant?
Aye. That vote passes unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you, Board. 10.08 is a resolution for American Education Week, November 18 through 22, 2024. The recommended action would be to approve the resolution in recognition of American Education Week as presented.
I'll read that resolution. American Education Week Proclamation, November 18th through the 22nd, November 2024. Whereas American Education Week was first observed in December 1921 as an opportunity to celebrate the accomplishments of our public schools and to acknowledge the importance of community support for public education, and whereas teachers, administrators, education professionals, and educational support staff working at a local, regional, and state levels serve our children and communities with care and professionalism, and whereas the strength, vitality, and freedom of our nation depends on citizens who are dedicated to the education of the next generation through the common school, which welcomes all children and strives to educate them in their highest potential, and whereas partnerships among schools, public schools, and their communities help build the support for public education that will sustain this vital institution through its many challenges in educating our children, and whereas the Winton Woods City School District Board of Education will ensure quality education for all children that will provide them with the tools they need to maintain our nation's precious values of freedom, civility, and equality. Be it therefore resolved that on this day, October the 28th, 2024, that American Education Week shall be a time to focus attention to the importance of public schools, its students, and its staff. The Winton Woods City School District Board of Education hereby proclaims November the 18th through the 22nd, 2024 as American Education Week.
Thank you. Motion is in order.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the resolution for American Education Week, November the 18th through the 22nd, 2024, as presented.
I'll second. Bill second.
Thank you.
Bill. Mr. Spill.
Bill, okay.
It's been motioned and second. Any questions? Seeing none, Mr. Seymour, you call for the vote.
Mr. Spielman?
Aye.
Dr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Bryant?
Aye. That vote passes unanimously.
Yes, here.
All right. Superintendent Denny.
Thank you again, Board. 10.09 is another resolution, the final for this evening. It is in recognition of International Education Week, November 18th through 22nd. And Board, the recommended action would be to approve this resolution as presented.
I read. The resolution International Education Week, November 18th to 22nd, 2024. Whereas the week of November 18th to 22nd, 2024 is International Education Week, and whereas we as a nation are charged with broadening our focus and becoming engaged in building international relationships, and whereas we should expand our efforts to learn from other countries about techniques and practices that will help us improve our own system of education, and whereas we should provide leadership in educational issues in appropriate international forums and collectively work on initiatives of common benefits, and whereas it is appropriate to educate and encourage students to learn other languages, cultures, and challenges outside our nation's borders, therefore be it resolved that the Winton Woods City Board of Education formally promote and support international awareness and the importance of teaching our students international education skills, adopted this 28th day of October 2024.
Thank you, Mr. Swan. Board, a motion is in order.
Madam President, I'd like to make a motion to approve the resolution of International Education Week, November the 18th through the 22nd, 2024, as presented.
I'll second.
It's been motioned and second. Any comments? No. Seeing none, Mr. Seymour, we call for the vote.
Mr. Spielman?
Aye.
Dr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Bryant?
Aye. That vote passes unanimously.
Thank you, Board. The final item in this section of the agenda, 10.10, is North Campus Stadium Fence Replacement Project bid. And so the Board, the recommended action would be to approve the North Campus Stadium Fence Replacement Project bid as presented and to present information or answer any questions the Board may have. Mr. Jeremy Day is at the podium, Executive Director of Business Affairs.
Yeah, in front of you, you guys have your bid tabulations and letter recommendation for the fencing project. It did come in quite a bit lower than what we were anticipating, which is a nice thing. We were opting to go with a 10-foot high chain link fence as opposed to a 6-foot high steel vertical rail. On both ends of things, even the 10-foot high chain link, we currently have a wrap that goes around the stadium. That would still stay, or buy a new wrap for that, so that would still aesthetically be the same as what you'd be seeing. But what this is going to do is just add a heightened level of security for really we feel one of the best stadiums in Southwest Ohio. So we'd like to keep it that way.
Great. Board, a motion is in order.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the North Campus Stadium fence replacement bid as presented.
It's been motioned. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
It's been motioned and second. Discussion, comments?
I have some questions. So the alternate that it talks about in the bid form.
Yeah.
The alternate was the steel rail on top?
Steel vertical rail.
Yes.
Yeah, steel vertical rail.
Okay. And I'm assuming they are removing the existing?
Yes.
And like where it's an asphalt paving or things like that, will they be patching?
That's what we're going to be talking about during the meeting that we're going to have later this week. We're going to have a kickoff meeting for that. We'll
Okay.
talk through how they're going to be fixing those particular areas.
But they are going to, that's part of their
That's part of
work.
it. Yeah,
Okay.
that's part of their work,
And
yes.
then you kind of mentioned the graphics, the removal, and then we'll just put up the same, I think it's like a 6-foot high graphic now. We'll just put that back.
Yeah, we haven't talked through what the graphic is going to be
Okay.
yet.
But we're not going to print an additional 10-foot high graphic that goes all the way down.
That wasn't our thinking.
Okay.
So would that, I mean, would that be a possibility so we don't have like a gap in between to get a new graphic?
Could take a look at it.
Anything.
We had to really,
I mean, it's more than possible, it's just.
But it's cost.
It's just cost.
Yeah, what is it gonna cost?
10-foot high graphic.
So what does it look like though?
Well, will the old one work, or will it, that's what you're gonna see
Yeah.
when you
Yeah.
put it all together.
In general, is going to work. We may have to buy sections just because this is gonna be likely starting outside of the current footprint. So that we wanted to start it outside the footprint so we don't have to take down the entire fence and then have no security of the stadium for a certain amount of time.
Oh, I
So we're
see.
gonna set it behind it and we'll take out the current fence after the fact,
I see.
if that makes sense.
I do
Just
know.
to keep the added security.
I know that one of the things that was discussed is potentially moving it to the baseball field as well. So if we do need to look at purchasing new, I mean, perhaps it could be centered. I think we just need to study it and see what it's gonna look like. But it is a nice addition. It does provide nice amount of atmosphere to the stadium. It's a school spirit, pride, but it is a cost. The good news is, I believe that this was a $150,000 budget item.
Yes.
That came in at 104. So there is some delta there where we've already budgeted, so perhaps we could access some of that, you know, to look at the screening and how to make that as appealing as it can be.
For the community, can you talk about a little bit of the necessity for doing this?
Well, over the last couple of years, last few years really, there has been some vandalism at the stadium. And we're trying to curb that. Like I said, it's one of the best stadiums we feel we have in the Southwest Ohio. We want to keep it that way. And there are certain things that are harder to fix than others, let's say.
Could you
And
talk
can be
about
very, very costly.
What's been marred in the past?
Mainly it would be like restroom doors, storage doors. Could be some spray paint on the ground, but we did have one that did happen on the track. That we are working. We've already gotten rid of some of that. You can still see it, but that does also then prompt us to do a higher level of cleaning coming up here soon to try to remove the rest. Again, it's just, it's all costly.
But one, as I understand it, one of the primary concerns is if we sprayed the track once, we might get in and try and do that again. And right now, we're going from a 6-foot fence to a 10-foot fence. So that really helps to eliminate that.
Some deterrent.
It's more
Yeah,
deterrent.
more
Yeah.
deterrent.
It's more deterrent.
Yeah.
You can't,
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
not as easy to get
Yeah, not as
across,
easy
for
to
sure.
get.
Yes.
Those aren't the only measures we're taking though either, to be.
Yeah, I can speak to some of that
If you want
you'd
to
like.
share
Yeah,
some of that
yeah.
information.
Yeah, so part of this project also on side of the fencing is increased camera access to different parts of the stadium and different parts of the surrounding areas. We're contracting out with a few different vendors that we've got some ideas with. Some of the cameras have already been purchased. We're just waiting on arrival and installation. And that'll help with some key areas that we kind of currently have blind spots on.
so when they take down this fence and there's a, asphalt area, that will be, the old fence will be, post will be removed and they'll be patched.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions? Sounds good. No? All right, see you.
Mr. Spielman?
Aye.
Dr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Smith? Aye. Ms. Bryant?
Aye, the vote passes unanimously. Thank you so much, Mr. Day.
All right, thank you.
All right, next item on the agenda is Board of Education reports, 11.0.
Can I ask a question? With the graphic people that we have in the school, could we take some pictures of the fence now and increase the height in the renderings and then show the current signage on it?
Like the scale model of it?
No, just graphically with a photo. I mean, it would be a good way of seeing how good it looks, so while it's up as it is, because you could graphically just extend the fence to the right height and move the poster, the graphic murals around to see if it looks good or what height that needs to be. And you could know that before you actually start to work.
Yeah, that's a good point, because in my mind, it doesn't work. Like, I keep thinking there's this gap, but you're right, that's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy enough to do with
Your construction brain. See, I'm like, no one, I'm like, oh yeah, that's his expertise. I'm like, why is he asking that? I'm like, okay, got it. Thank you. Hey, Dr. Johnson.
The legislative report, well, as you might suspect, thank you, Madam President. Legislative report for the fall has been pretty sporadic because the news has been mostly about the upcoming election activity. So nobody cares about anything that's been going on in the past. The news on both political races for the legislative, judicial, and congressional seats have been the biggest focus of, our folks in Columbus, and some of the areas would affect how we are going to be doing business, as educators and in school districts. So it's one to watch. There are two significant pieces of legislation. The full legislative report is in board docs. You can look at it. But there's two pieces of legislation that they did find room to talk about, which was a Senate bill and a House bill. Senate Bill 104, which is a College Credit Plus, and House Bill 183, which has been called or dubbed as the bathroom bill, which House Bill 183 would require school districts and higher education institutes to require students to use bathrooms based on their biological gender at birth. And the College Credit Plus, the Senate Bill 104, makes changes to the College Credit Plus program, including a measure that allows students more flexibility on when they determine they're going to, their intent to enroll in CCP or College Credit Plus courses. The College Credit Plus Senate bill passed, and then they added the House Bill 183. So that has not, that's kind of in a continuance. It hasn't been voted on just yet. The other thing with regards to legislation would be the voting that's coming up on Tuesday, November the 5th. Just vote for your candidate of choice. Nobody's telling you how to vote, just vote. Tuesday, November the 5th at your polling place. Also, the board, along with the superintendent and many of the school administrators, will travel to Columbus for the 2024 OSBA Capital Conference on November the 10th through the 12th. And that's an educational leadership conference that we go to every year, where we learn quite a bit about how to be an effective board, what we can do to help our students in numerous ways. So it's a very good conference. I've gone to it every year since I've been on the board, and I enjoy it. And that concludes the legislative report.
Thank you so much, Dr. Johnson. The next report, board, is the Great Oaks Career Technical Report, agenda item 11.02. Mr. Brady has sent the report. Any questions or you want to challenge out of that?
It's a great report. It gives a good overview of all the things they're doing.
And thank you, Mr. Brady, for continuing
Yes.
to represent our district with the Great Oaks. Okay. Next item on the agenda is 12.01, board motions and recommendations. Superintendent Denny. The board meetings is 12.01.
12.01, yes. So, board, there is a need to examine the date for the board meeting on the 25th. It does fall during Thanksgiving break. We have quite a few staff members who will not be present that week. They're out on vacation. I believe there may even be a board member who might be out as well, possibly another. So just after some discussion, there was basically a need to examine the 25th and look instead at the 18th, which is the prior Monday. So board, that would require action by the board as a body to affect that change in the date. The location would be the same. So board, the recommended action would be that a motion would be needed to change the date of the November 25th, 2024 regular board meeting to November 18th, 2024. The location and time will remain the same, which would be this room that we're currently occupying at this time, Wentwood South Campus, Lake Room 1106, located at 147 Farragut Road, Cincinnati, Ohio. Same time, 6:30 p.m., and set a new regular Board of Education meeting, work session as well on Monday, December 2nd. At the Wentwoods Community Building, Room 105, 8 Enfield Street, Cincinnati, Ohio, at 6:30 p.m. That's the recommended action, board.
Great, thank you, Superintendent Denny. Board, a motion is in order?
I'll make a motion to change the date of the November 25th, 2024 regular board meeting to November 18th, 2024. Location and time will remain the same, Winton South Campus, Lake Room 1106, 147 Farragut Road, Cincinnati, Ohio, at 6:30, and set a new regular Board of Education meeting work session on Monday, December 2nd, 2024, at the Winton Woods Community Building, Room 105, 8 Enfield Street, Cincinnati, Ohio, at 6:30 p.m.
Thank you, Mr. Spillman. It has been motioned. Can I have a second? Go on, Sam.
I'll second that.
Great. Discussion?
Yeah, I do have a question.
Yes.
So, for the, November one, I get that, moving it from the, 25th to the 18th, up 1 week. But in December, we were scheduled for the 9th and the 16th, so we're moving the one that was on the 9th to the 2nd? Is that what we're doing?
No,
Because we
we're-
should have had one on the 9th and on the 16th.
I think we're adding
Yeah.
one because we don't have, because
We didn't.
normally our work session, for some reason, always falls when we're in OSBA. So we don't have one for November, so I think this is gonna be our November work session in December? Is that what we're looking?
We
Is that
didn't
what-
have one in December.
We can confirm, Dr. Johnson, but I don't believe at the organizational meeting that a December
Yeah.
work session date was actually set.
I don't think so when I looked, there's
A
something we don't have
December,
here.
what November's, we normally don't have one in November because
Correct.
we're at OSBA.
Correct.
So.
It's listed, but we're never.
We don't have that
Yeah.
one in November. So I guess I'm looking for clarification. So are we having 3 meetings then in December on the 2nd, the 9th, and the 16th?
We
No.
don't
We
have
We don't have
another
one on
one.
the 9th.
And Randy, maybe you can look at the organizational
at the
meeting
organization.
Well, there is one
information.
listed in my calendar for the 9th. I think it's the 16th that we don't have.
I have one on my calendar for the 16th.
I do too.
Yeah.
I
But
have
it's-
one on the 9th and the 16th.
But
I
I
just
don't
moved
think
that
they're
one
on
to
the
the
list.
16th.
I don't think they're on the list that I have them on my calendar too, but I think my calendar's wrong. That's what I'm gonna go with.
I was actually surprised to see that there wasn't a work session until February.
There's not a work session
Yeah,
set.
I think
for
that's what it is. We
December.
have board meetings, we just don't have a work session.
So
Only,
we're
uh,
gonna
Yeah,
have
yes.
one on December the 2nd.
Correct,
Correct.
Work session, and then December the 16th, our regular meeting
correct.
for, okay.
December the 16th is set for your regular meeting.
Correct.
Yes, okay.
But there's no session on December 9th, correct?
Okay, maybe I just
Correct.
automatically just assumed that it was, okay.
You're not the only person. I had it on mine too. I think I just went every other. and
Right,
that
yeah, I
would've
just
been the
probably
next
put 'em
one.
in.
That's what I did as well.
Yeah.
It's in my calendar, same way.
Okay,
Thank
and the
you for
one
that.
for the 25th is being moved to the 18th.
Correct.
Got that.
Great, thank you, board, for that discussion. Any other questions or discussion?
Yeah, I am out of the country on the 18th, so I will not be at that meeting.
Thank you. Thank you for that notification. And just another point of clarification, is it possible that it won't be in this room, that we would be in our new space by then? Maybe if.
December could, I mean,
December
it's, we
would
could
be?
set it, it would require the
Wouldn't that be a
72-hour
wonderful
advance notice.
Christmas gift?
I hope by the 16th, we can definitely
Okay.
make
Not
that
by the
happen.
18th, because the curtain's coming this week, isn't it, possibly? So there's no possibility by November?
We could
18th?
just change the location of the
Okay.
16th at the November meeting, if that's what you choose to do.
No, I'm just hoping the November meeting will be someplace
Oh,
different.
I don't,
I
One
think
can
it
hope
takes
and
board
dream.
action to change the date, but only 72-hour notice to change the location, correct?
Okay. Yes.
I apologize.
No, I was just saying, it takes board action to change a
the
date
date,
or
but-
set a date, but it takes a 72-hour advance notice under the sunshine laws
If you
to,
want to change the location.
change
send a
location.
Notice, but,
yeah, right.
So-
these are changing of the dates that you had
Oh,
previously
yes,
set.
yes. I'm just hoping and praying that we will have our new space with the new curtain. I'm just, putting it out there in the atmosphere. Okay, thank you. Any other questions, discussion? And thank you, Dr. Jones, for that clarification, because I had all
Yeah,
of them.
yeah, because I have my calendar, I guess, I just say every other Monday, and it just probably filled it in.
Yep.
so.
All right, Stina?
Mr. Spielman,
Aye.
Dr. Johnson,
Hi.
Mr. Smith,
Aye.
Ms. Bryant.
Aye, that vote passes unanimously. Thank you so much, everyone. All right, next item on the agenda, comments from the board, 13.01.
I'll
Who
go
would like to
first.
go first? There you go. Thank you, Mr. Spelman.
First of all, I'd like to congratulate the people that got the awards tonight. AJ Elmore, Brianna Velasquez Satina, Deontay Shelton, Kyle Shoup, Dolka, Hernandez Lopez and Mrs. Bev Lanham, and also our partnership with Horace Mann. Congratulations to the Winton Woods football team on so far a great successful season and a continued success as they go into the playoffs. Continued honor to our teachers and staff, and accolades to the Warrior Broadcasting Club for their presentation tonight, and in the news that our honor roll students for the first quarter. So congratulations to all these students and staff and community partners. Thank you.
Thank you. Very good.
All right, who else would like to go?
I'll just go right after him because he said everything that I was going to say.
I know,
So,
I said that, I'm
I
like,
mean, it's
well.
like, it's good. I echo all of my board colleagues' sentiments. And again, just thank you to the stakeholders too, who are working with the district to better create a positive environment for our students in the district. We appreciate Mr. Spielman for his volunteering to be a mentor, and we welcome any other mentors that would like to come and work with our students. So that's it.
Thank you, Dr. Nelson.
Once again, just thank you to all the teachers, staff. A big shout out to our bus drivers. I was able to join the marching band in the Blink Parade. They definitely were well represented. They had a little bit of coverage on the news, I believe, as well. So, but big shout out to the bus drivers because it was not easy to navigate 5 buses in a truck downtown Cincinnati, where there are massive street closings and, you know, thousands of people everywhere, but they absolutely made it happen. So I definitely had to give them a real quick shout out. And then it was very encouraging to see the young people in the video club. I remember when I was in high school, we had video club, and just to see it come back around full circle and to see them really tapping into the 21st century mindset of where we are as a society when it comes to social media and the appropriate way to utilize it. I mean, that is an absolute avenue where somebody can get a career started. So I appreciate the district on how you guys are empowering our students and thinking outside the normal academic box and giving opportunities to our students. I think that's absolutely wonderful. And then I also want to continue to ask our parents to stay vigilant on their kids. You know, there's a lot that goes on in the district, and there's a lot of support that we need by parents as well. It takes a village. We always say it takes a village. I mean, I'll be the first one to say I have no kids, but I spend a lot of time in the school district because I believe that our kids are our future, and I want to see a bright future. And I support our district. Our district is doing amazing things. I work with a lot of other school districts. I work with some universities. And when I mention that I'm from Winton Woods, I graduated from Winton Woods, there's always positive things that people have to say. And so it's very encouraging. I talk to Mr. Denny all the time about things that I hear. So let's just, keep the focus on the Warrior way, Warrior pride. And let's, hold ourselves accountable, and let's, help each other grow and go. Thank you.
Superintendent Denny, do you have anything?
Yeah, thank you. And I could echo much of what's been already shared, but just one, as we enter the month of November, my favorite holiday, and just a spirit of Thanksgiving, I think, and appreciation for our staff, for our administrators, for the executive team, for the time that all of these folks put in, our bus drivers, our classified staff, our certificated staff. We have a very talented bunch of people that are working really hard, and just want to show them some appreciation as well. And I'd also like to just give a quick shout out to Mr. Birdie for the Great Oaks service and the reports he provides, and being a part of that board on behalf of our students, our communities, and our school system. I want to congratulate all of our athletic teams that made the playoffs. I know golf got through second round, I believe. We had some players get through, some athletes, soccer, but also, of course, the football team. Like, to echo what Mr. Spielman said, we're excited about Friday night and a chance for our band to perform, our cheerleaders to put on an exhibition. And they look really great this year and have been doing some really great things. Waycross, thank you for everything you all do to bring not only these meetings, but a variety of other programming from our district to our community. And then lastly,
I'm sorry. I meant to mention that. It was so good to see the football game on the big screen in the football stadium. Thank you so much, Waycross. That was amazing.
Yes.
Like Mr. Day said, one of the best, football facilities around. That mirrors Paycor Stadium. And so I'm sorry to interrupt.
Not at all.
That is something that I just had to appreciate because I had
In our family room, gathered around.
yeah,
It
I
was
hadn't been to a
really
game
cool.
all
It was
season because
really
I've been out of
cool.
town, and I just happened to go up to a game, and I saw the the big screen, so it was wonderful.
I believe they can even do instant replay. I just don't know if they're doing
Like I
it,
said,
but I believe the
on that
capability
level,
is there.
on that level. So
Tony,
thank you.
yeah, Tony's saying yeah.
Thank
so,
you to
it's
Waycross
pretty
and
impressive.
the volunteers. Yeah.
So yeah, thank you for that shout out. Last comment is just a reminder to everybody that civic duty and responsibility to vote, it's really important. This is a really critical time, so just encouraging everyone to get out and vote.
Great, thank you,
Thank you.
Superintendent. Last but not least, I'll go last. Keep it short because I think every single person. Sorry, you sure you have something to say? I do think we do have some news. You want to read that news? Does he know about this?
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
Should I talk about it?
It's up to you. If you want.
Sure, talk about it.
The letter from the Hamilton County Auditor?
No.
Okay.
He's like,
Okay. So thank
it's
you guys.
positive. We should say that.
Yes, it's very positive.
Like, it's not bad.
I will say I don't have anything new because you guys have said everything other than please look at the upcoming events. There's some wonderful things happening. I want you all to be a part of that. I did have one thing that was brand new, but it just left my mind. I guess it's past my bedtime, y'all, so I don't remember. But thank you guys for all that you do. Again, thank you, Waycross, for being here. I'm super excited that the Warriors get to play on Friday at home. The Warriors, please show up, everyone.
And they're blue and green.
And they're blue and green, yes, she's always talking about the blue and green. I think that was it. Whatever it was that I wanted to say differently, I literally cannot remember. So with that, I'm done. Does anyone have anything else to say?
Executive session, right?
Yep, so the next item on the agenda is 14.01, and we do not have a need to go into executive session. So we'll go to 15:01. I now call this meeting to close.